This month's music video shows something unexpected.
Hey everybody, it's Jake. This is Sunday Service. Welcome to the show. If you've never been here before, this is a live show. I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness, current country music remixer, and every week I check in on my old cult, Jehovah's Witnesses, see what they're learning, hang out with the chat. This is going to be a laid-back, kind of chill stream. We're going to have a few segments and have some fun. Now, that was an Animal Crossing type beat in the sense that that was the Glitter Gulch Mine theme from Banjo-Tooie. Shout out to one of the great games, many people are saying. And thanks everybody who's joining us. If you don't know, we're going to talk about the new JW Broadcasting, which I weirdly haven't talked about yet. And there is a country music video in the broadcast. They like to experiment with genre sometimes, genre, as Alex Trebek would say. And they're going into the country music scene. Really bizarre music video. And that's really the only thing I've seen. I just have had the idea since I heard that to do a little Glitter Gulch Mine mashup, which I threw together as usual about 15 minutes before we started. So probably could have been better. But speaking of things that could be better, before we get into our main attraction, we got to get into some YouTube business.
Oh, happy day. All worldly complaining about YouTube.
Yes, some comments, concerns, complaints. I actually don't have any complaints about YouTube, but I do need to update people on a couple things. So I haven't done a great job of communicating this. I need to make a community post, probably, but Not a Cult, my novel, has been delayed to next year, probably March. I will post an update. If you pre-ordered it, you should have gotten an email. All your stuff's been refunded. I totally messed up the pre-order thing. I thought I could change it, pretty close to the release date, and it turns out I couldn't. So I'm just going to surprise drop it one of these days. So we're in the channel business section. I haven't been quite as prolific with uploading stuff, although I've been still recording and editing, but just slowly. I've been kind of trying to take a little bit of a mental health break. Not a Cult is a horror novel that takes place within Jehovah's Witnesses, and it's me mining a lot of my own trauma for creepy body horror and demon possession stuff. And so it was a little emotionally exhausting. I had to take a break. It's turning out great. Like, it's not that I'm stuck or it won't be done. I just needed a little emotional break for it before I start doing the editing and all that. And as some of you know, writing is kind of my dream. So I wrote a novel in 2022, spent a lot of 2023 trying to submit it to literary agents. I've got another. I essentially rewrote that whole thing based on some feedback, and am now promoting that, submitting that to agents, and working on another novel for young readers, middle grade readers, at the same time. So I've just kind of taken a little break, but I will update everyone when that book is coming out. I've still got some stuff planned for October related to like spooky demon stuff, so look forward to that. I was going to do all that in conjunction with Not a Cult, but I still want to talk about creepy demon stuff. And what else? Yeah, so stay tuned, basically, and thanks for your patience. I had to clear my throat, and I think I'm probably going to need to take a little drink of water.
My church had been giving me ass to drink, but now I was freely receiving, the water of life.
Good deal. That's a drop I play sometimes when I have to take a drink of water. And, oh, hey, so I think somebody gifted subs last time. So, yeah, be sure to sign up for a membership. There's some exclusive videos there. I'm going to be releasing the awkward silent supercut in sections. So you can see the first, kind of a rough cut of the Gage Flegel one now. My longtime fans know I release an awkward silent supercut of the annual meetings, requested by nobody, but for some reason I like to do this, and so I've been chipping away at that. And I guess the other thing I've been working on primarily is stuff for a new channel. I want to start using my YouTube skills to build like a pop culture channel. This channel's not going away. This is always going to be my little video diary, Jehovah's Witness zone, but I've been working on 2 videos because I want to have a couple things stacked for when I start releasing. So I've just been busy doing a lot of stuff not related to Jehovah's Witnesses, which people always tell me I should do. So I've just been taking y'all's advice, but still releasing stuff. And okay, first order of business then. That was the pre-order of business. That was kind of the preamble of the Constitution of this show, and now we're going to get into the First Amendment. I don't know how the Constitution works. Oh boy, Christina making political commentary. This is famously an apolitical show, especially the background of my room right now, which I forgot to kind of turn that around. Okay, so I want to do something that I haven't done in a long time, so I've got some good ones stacked up, which is funny JW comments that I get on the channel. I did a video probably last year, or maybe 2 years ago, because what is time anymore? Just sort of reacting to the sort of silly comments I get from Jehovah's Witnesses on the channel. Sometimes they're substantive. Pretty often they're not, because of course Jehovah's Witnesses, like most people who are in cults, are not supposed to be looking at stuff that critics like me say. We're considered apostates, and that's really scary. We're agents of Satan. I don't know if you knew that, first-time viewers, but I'm an agent of Satan. I look like a bowler from the 70s, but nope, scary agent of Satan. But sometimes Jehovah's Witnesses just can't help themselves. My content is just too tantalizing and tempting. And so they leave comments, and I thought we could go through some because I've got some weird ones. And I also wanted to go through a couple good Reddit posts that I had seen recently. We like to check in with the Reddit sometimes before we get into the broadcasts. People are filtering in. And, holy shit, I keep on forgetting to say this. Subscribe to the Sunday Service YouTube channel. This is actually probably the most important announcement that I should have said right up top. But this is going to be the last time that I simultaneously stream this on the Alt-Worldly channel. It's just going to have its own dedicated channel now, Sunday Service. I will probably upload highlights, like stream highlights, condensed versions of certain segments if I think they're worth uploading on the main channel. I've got a couple of those that I've been editing off and on. One of them is the stream that RC and I did about, we reacted to some leaked training videos for circuit overseers and Bethelites, and we also talked about this Jehovah's Witness therapy scam. And so I'm going to be uploading clips of that, but if you go to my channel information, if you click on the channel name and go to more details, there's the links to that and JW Poopcasting, where I upload the dumb edits that I do. So yeah, subscribe to Sunday Service. I'll make a community post next week with the link to it to remind everybody. And if you're watching this in the far-flung future, hopefully I remember to put a link in the description for this. So, without further Freddy ado, let's get into the first comment. A real boon in terms of comments has been TikTok. I have been posting more on TikTok, like edits and stuff, and that's been fun because as we've got a TikTok legend here, Apostate Barbie in the chat, and as TikTok XJWs know, the content just finds people. The way TikTok distributes videos, they will find Jehovah's Witnesses. Whereas on YouTube, I would have, and I remember having to actively seek out XJW content when I was first ready to question. It wasn't like YouTube was feeding me this stuff. But on TikTok, that's what the algorithm does. It just sends this stuff, and so Jehovah's Witnesses see it. Sometimes I think that they don't understand, especially when it's like an edit of mine, they really don't understand what's happening. So I got a lot of comments. This video got a lot of views, and actually it's really short. It's just a dumb supercut. So I think I'll show it to you because it's important for people to understand that I just, like, the way that anybody could be confused about this video is confusing to me. That didn't make a lot of sense, but it will, I promise. All right, so let me see. I think I might have this uploaded unlisted on my YouTube page. Or I guess I could just pull up TikTok. YouTube Studio. Let's see. I thought that I uploaded this and then just didn't make it public. Oh, I'm an idiot. I could just show you the raw video file. Listen, this is a... I know that I do this every week and have for a few years now, but a lot of this, it feels like it's the first time I'm doing it every single time. I don't think I have an apology corner drop yet, but I really should, because one thing I want to apologize for repeatedly is the lighting. Very bad lighting. Just in this room, so I'm sorry about that. God damn it, where is this video? I guess I'm just going to show you the TikTok. Because I at least know how to find my TikTok page. That much I can do. Okay, alright, let's do this. I promise this is worth it and important.
Listen, and listen.
No. Okay,
Greetings.
so this.
Jehovah has revealed his sacred secret. Are you good at keeping honorable secrets? What about secrets? Jehovah had a secret, human secret. Jehovah's sacred secret, the sacred secret. Jehovah's secret was still a secret. Puzzle box. His sacred secret, sacred secret. Sacred secret, Jehovah's sacred secret, God's sacred secret. When did the sacred secret, God's sacred secret, which he kept secret? What does Jehovah...
Oh, okay. So you get it. It's just a supercut from this talk. Very obviously edited together snippets of every time he says sacred secret. I mean, that's the only thing this video is. But I got PMEs, physically and mentally in Jehovah's Witnesses, found this video in droves. It got a lot of traction. The edits, I think, like, a lot of PMEs always end up seeing them because they just see, like, a video of the governing body. It's clearly, like, from JW Broadcasting, and so they click on it. All right, so this is from user Juliana Roxelle. But why posting this on social media? Adhere to the governing body. We are not supposed to post anything about our website. And so, well, my comments are all kind of cringe. But this person thought that I'm just like a Jehovah's Witness who doesn't understand why I'm posting that. They're upset because I'm breaking the rules about, like, witnesses aren't even supposed to post clips of their own material on social media, which is very strange, and Jehovah's Witnesses don't do that. And so, yes, this falls into the category that I talked about in my first JW Comments video, which is, why? Why are you doing this? And a lot of the comments are like that. They're like, why? Oh man, I don't know if I want to see PME TikToks or not. I almost never just browse TikTok. I will watch videos from people that I follow, but I'm more like not a fan of TikTok just because I don't like the kinds of algorithmic, it's just feeding you videos and you're just scrolling through till you find something. I've just never really liked that. I never got into Vine either when that was a thing. Okay, so that's a Y. That's a big Y comment. Let's see, is this one? No. Let's get to that one later. This one from M. Edward Peterson, who has a beard, which is allowed within Jehovah's Witnesses. Imposters all around. You're not deceiving we, us witnesses. Where from this man? You're messing with the Almighty God, not the witnesses. And so what I just keep on saying in response is, how is anyone being deceived? It's just a goofy supercut. I think I would have watched this even if I was a witness and thought it was fun. That's a lot of times that's why I make these things, is because even as a witness who wanted to do YouTube and liked YouTube poops, I always thought it would be so funny to make edits of the JW broadcasting. And I was always worried that like the larger YouTube poop sphere on YouTube would find these videos and start making them. And unfortunately, now that I have, nobody, it still hasn't caught on. Except with other XJWs, I guess. But I was hoping I could get Tall Bart or somebody to be interested in JW poops. Okay, so this is my question. Can they not tell it's edited to be silly and that you're clearly not a JW? I know. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the humorless ones, Water Baby. The humorless ones, so sad, so prevalent. Indoctrinated psychopaths, almost. It's almost like that. Yeah, I think just seeing these absurd reactions is always a good sign that it's a cult. I get these on the like political edits I make sometimes too. Like, why are you doing this? This is disrespectful. Like, it's just fun. It's just for fun. Okay, well, let's get into that one later. No preview of things to come. Okay, so this is a please stop. Why are you doing this? Another one of those from Owusu Steven commented. Oh wait, I think it's just commented is just because I think that's a screenshot of my alerts. Please, what are you doing to JW is not good, so stop it. Doesn't help you at all. It actually does help me, by the way. It helps me laugh and gain followers on TikTok.com. Obviously, the goal of all apostates is to accumulate followers for ourselves so we can mislead Jehovah's Witnesses into satanic inevitable destruction. So it helps me in that very real cause it is definitely a real thing. Okay. From Jonathan Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa to Jonathan. Continue with what you think is the truth. Your time will come. So this is a veiled threat. My time will come. They don't mean my time should be a famous TikToker. It's not a compliment. It's he's saying I will die on Armageddon. Oh, by the way, you're right, I did say that. Please stop is a perfectly valid response to TikToks. I say it a lot of the time. A lot of times when I see TikToks, I think you should just stop and you just shouldn't have posted this. Okay, this is YouTube. I want to get into this one later. Oh, Paper Beat Gibshock makes an appearance. Okay. So let's shift gears. Here's some YouTube ones. The YouTube ones. We like to talk about ones here. Doke says, I've noticed all JW comments are in super broken English. I want to talk about this without being like ableist or condescending, because most of us in chat were Jehovah's Witnesses at some point in our lives, and most of us, I know actually from your comments on my channel that you don't type like this. Your chat comments are all much more like cohesive and readable than the like JW comments I get. And I think a couple things happen. Like, generally speaking, the witnesses who take the beliefs really seriously, and are probably most similar to like our JW families, they are very afraid of the rules. They're very afraid of disobeying the direction against watching apostate content. So the idea of them watching it, let alone commenting on it, is kind of unthinkable. But I think we all know or knew witnesses when we were in who were just sort of the weird people in the hall who were super zealous and would stick their foot in the door if a householder tried to slam the door shut on us. I knew somebody who would, if there was a mailman walking by, she would run and make sure to get the mailman too. And I think there's a lot of people who hear those warnings about apostate content and think, no, but I am spiritual enough to handle this, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to preach. Like, they're into the we're going to live and everyone else is going to die part of it. And so just the entire demographic of people who are willing to comment on XJW stuff on the internet sort of self-selects for like really pious, delusional Jehovah's Witnesses. I hope that doesn't sound too mean. I think I would have told you even as a witness that there are delusional witnesses. All are delusional to some extent because of cult indoctrination, but I think we all know what I'm saying. And then, yeah, there's the people who are clearly posting, maybe like copying from a translator software or something, where English isn't their first language. And I think from that standpoint, it's because the warnings about apostasy probably just don't break through as much. Like, it's, I don't know, they might just have a different culture as opposed to how strict they are about following stuff from the videos. I don't know. I remember commenting PME comments on Owen Morgan's channel. Oh my God. You know, I, for whatever reason, was never big into Telltale's content. No, not for any personal reason. Mostly just because I don't really watch any XJW content since I make it now. I like to watch people's waking up stories, though. But I've been seeing him on the line recently, and he's great. He seems like a very nice, chill guy. I keep meaning to see if he'd be willing to come on a stream. I don't know. But that's really exciting. Yes, your hands are really shaky and typing real fast. Well, even just like anytime I was on a forum online, because I was a big online forum user as a PME. It kind of lets you live a secret double life, because I could curse. Nobody knew that I was a witness. I wasn't even using my name. I'm not showing my face, right? But I would just be on like music or gaming forums or and stuff like that. But sometimes there are off-topic sections and people would have debates about God and stuff. And anytime I tried to defend JW beliefs, I had that feeling of like, oh my God, ugh. Kind of because like you're not supposed to be doing it, but you feel compelled to. It's just like some kind of alarm bell in your brain is going off. Like, everything about this is wrong, but you just can't stop yourself. Okay. Anyway, next comment on YouTube from somebody with dubious grasp of grammar.
The water of life.
Let's take a little sip. This is from John Ointment? John Ointment. What a name. Yeah, Apostate Barbie says, I would have never commented like the PMEs that comment on my TikTok. Yeah, I think it's because when you take it seriously, it's just too scary. The idea of commenting would be so unthinkable. And so the only kind of people who do comment are really weird JWs who, like, they'll start partaking at the memorial. And we all kind of know that people who partake at the memorial are weird, unless they're in Bethel, and then it's fine, and you get to be a governing body member. Okay. John Ointment, this was on my video about Philip Brumley, says, as an ex-JW, amazing, I listened carefully, especially to your comments, although a couple of valid points were raised. I have to say that you, along with so many apostates, seem to be just full of hate, attacking everyone. I've been out 11 years and have moved on and got a life. My suggestion, if these men are from God, ... I don't understand what any of that really means, though. Well, as an ex-JW myself, my response is that this person didn't list any specifics. And I'm pretty sure that I commented asking, like, what exactly did you think was full of hate? Or what was I wrong? Like, what were the points that you did agree with? They just don't like the tone. It's tone policing. And, you know, this is an extra sarcastic video. Definitely a part of a saga that feel like a real prelude to me taking a break, because they're all super snarky and sarcastic and kind of mean-spirited. So I don't even necessarily disagree that I sound bitter in this. I just don't understand what the problem is. I think some people just in general, just to use this as a springboard to talk more about me, I've been thinking a lot about like the tone of my channel. I've been watching a lot of Professor Dave on YouTube. If people don't know, he does like science stuff and debunks of bad science and conspiracy theories and stuff. He's really great. And he is really snarky. Like, if you think I'm snarky, he's just like, these idiots, these stupid motherfuckers. Actually, I don't think he curses. First curse of the stream, by the way. So sorry. For those of you listening with kids, I dropped a big, strong MF bomb so hard 24 minutes in. But yeah, like he is real snarky, and just if he thinks someone's an idiot, he'll call him an idiot. And I think there's a lot of atheists and sciencey people who agree with him who will leave comments on the channel like, your tone is so disrespectful. You would reach more people and wouldn't turn so many people off if you wouldn't talk so nasty. And I'm just always like, but I like that stuff. I don't know that it's good or healthy, but I like watching Matt Dillahunty lose his mind and dunk on people. And I like watching Professor Dave just call people who I think are idiots. Like, sometimes that is what is appealing to people. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's not everybody's thing. Why are we talking about this? I don't know. Everybody's valid. All your opinions are valid. Okay, this is actually a good one because this is like, this is a type of the type anti-type variety, I'm saying, of witness comment. There's certain little buckets that Jehovah's Witness comments fall into. And this one I haven't talked about, but this is legit, which is that we're the only organization that has apostates who criticize us, and that means that we're the truth. If we weren't the truth, then why would so many people who leave our religion say that it's a cult? Makes you think. It's kind of tenuous logic. This is from Papa Ethan, who says other religions has no apostates picking up on them, only JWs, because JWs is the true religion. Have you think of that? Did you think of that? Oh, one of these stinking cats pooped or farted or something in here. I'm pretty sure I responded to this. I'm just like, that's not true at all. Every single religion on YouTube has a entire sub-community of people who left that religion and talk about why it's bad. Like, I don't know. You see, the funny thing is, because I do like to watch, like, theist debates and stuff, like those call-in shows, like The Line, and this isn't an argument that's unique to Jehovah's Witnesses, but Jehovah's Witnesses just think that all other forms of Christianity are wrong. So none of the criticism towards, or like, Christian oppression narratives, those don't apply to mainstream Christianity. They only apply to Jehovah's Witnesses. But if you listen to theists or evangelical types, they do the same thing where they're like, well, the very fact that we have any negative feedback at all is proof that we're right, because the Bible said that there would be people who said that we were wrong. It doesn't make any sense. And this is just literally wrong. But what would they know? They don't seek out criticism of other religions. The only criticism they care about is of their religion, and they just care that it exists, and they would rather it didn't exist. Whoa, okay. This, it's from a Jehovah's Witness, because a servant of Jehovah, 7849, self-identifying as a servant of Jehovah, says, we have been murdered, violently persecuted by our enemies, including atheists. If all we had to worry about was being left alone by our enemies, we would consider that a blessing. Also, merely sharing our beliefs or copying our lifestyle or being born to a JW parent does not make one liable. Only after taking the vow of dedication and signifying this by water immersion does one become liable. And we don't believe in infant baptism. Candidates must make it clear by their way of life that their dedication is not... Okay. So this person's doing a couple things. They're doing a couple things. They're pulling out the persecution complex that we just talked about. We have the truth because people have persecuted us in the past. Now, I don't... Like, it's not wrong. Like, there has been violence against Jehovah's Witnesses at times. And there have been legal shenanigans to try and stop them from going door to door. Those sort of famous court cases that they won. But that doesn't mean anything, because it's not exclusive to them. They don't like when you point out, for example, what witnesses will bring up the Russia ban a lot. They're banned in Russia. They're viewed as extremist, because Putin basically labeled anything that wasn't the Russian Orthodox Church extremist. But if you ask Jehovah's Witnesses, Putin is uniquely going after Jehovah's Witnesses because the Bible foretells that the King of the North is modern-day Russia. Craziness. But if you point out to witnesses like, well, Scientology is also banned, and so is like Islam. It's not just you guys. Well, that kind of doesn't count. So it doesn't really matter. Like, Jewish people have obviously been persecuted violently way more than Jehovah's Witnesses have. But that just doesn't matter to them because they're like, yeah, but the Jews lost God's favor because they didn't all... The entirety of Judaism didn't accept Jehovah's Witness doctrines. Just the kind of, like, evangelical anti-Semitism that you see out there in the streets sometimes. I feel like there's a couple other good ones. Okay, so now we're getting into a different territory. This is probably not a Jehovah's Witness. This is probably an ex-Jehovah's Witness, but it's on my Debunking the Freemason Watchtower conspiracy. Nobody who criticizes it seems to actually watch it. But this was an interesting one. I clicked on this video, actually. I don't remember what it leads to. Oh, look, it's letting me click it. That's crazy. Oh, it says it's not available. Okay. I'll show you in a second. But I clicked the link. It wasn't clear to me what it was when I clicked on it before. Some weird video. But this person says, I see. This is Savvy Savant. So we'll see how savvy they seem by their comment. I see. You're running interference in the hopes of manufacturing confusion, preventing genuine people from attempting to genuinely do background checks, such that they can no longer tell what's authentic from what's counterfeit. Information pollution for the purpose of information control. Whoa. Okay, well, I'm done. Everything will eventually get revealed in end anyway. All it takes is time. It's a mathematical certainty. Side note. Links to a video that doesn't exist. Character will out, as it always does. Some of that is pretty incomprehensible. I don't really know what that means. This one falls into the category of it is impossible that I have simply examined the evidence and come to a different conclusion from them. Ironically, this is the exact issue that I have with my Jehovah's Witness friends and family. Like, it's completely unfathomable to them that I did examine all of the evidence for why Jehovah's Witnesses are true, and I'm just not convinced by them. And in that same way, Savvy Savant and his ilk, who come on my Freemason conspiracy video, in which I concede that Russell did lift certain things from the Freemasons, and that there are secret society aspects of the organization. I concede a lot of ground and talk about how there are true conspiracy theories out there. This just happens to be not true because of all the overwhelming evidence. It doesn't matter. It must be that I'm a nefarious actor who's trying to trick people into not believing the obviously true Freemason conspiracy. Absolutely nuts. Totally bananas. Also not very savvy with spelling and writing and grammar. Which isn't like a character flaw or anything. It's just if you're going to be coming in here saying things like, it's a mathematical certainty, I do expect, I don't know. Well, maybe they're just saying, hey, I'm a math guy. I'm not a grammar guy. And I'm the opposite. Maybe I just don't understand math. That might be the problem. And this one was just kind of interesting. I texted Gerrit about this. Humble brag. Just because I thought it was, if anybody hasn't seen the interview clip that I posted to the channel a few days ago, Gerrit, Heliocentric, and I talked a lot longer than the initial interview with him that I did. He flipped the script at the end and started interviewing me, and we talked about some stuff. One of the things that we did talk about was the weird comments that we get on the channel. So it's just kind of been front of mind. And this one is on our conversation. We're both atheists. And I think Gerrit in particular is very compassionate of religious people. I try to be, but sometimes the snark wins out over here on this channel. And so I was just kind of surprised that this comment even came up, to be honest. This is from Joe and Fran. So this is a married couple came together, consulted, and sort of came to a bipartisan agreement on what this comment would be. So this is really 2-on-1. Like certain debates I can talk about. I don't know what I'm doing. Do you have a belief? You are limiting your ability to learn and to know. Unlike our pets, humans have an unlimited ability to learn. Why limit your beliefs? Okay, what did I say? Because I'll probably just say the same thing now. Okay, I said, I don't understand the question. I can't speak for Gerrit, but my beliefs are limited by evidence. Lol. You can't force yourself to believe in something. I have seen no evidence for God, so I don't believe in God, but I believe in many things. Yeah, okay, so aren't they XJWs? I'm pretty sure that this is an XJW comment, because in this conversation, it's like me as an ex-witness and him as an ex-Pentecostal, just talking about, mostly me interviewing him about what his experience is like, right? But I have gotten this comment a lot from theists over the years, and like in Facebook exchanges, social media exchanges too, not just comments, but they're like, why are you, like, atheists, why are they limiting their beliefs? Why are they just shutting down and shuttering off the God part of their brain when there's so many things out there? And it's like, well, you can't just choose to believe in stuff. You should limit your beliefs based on what you can know to be true. Like, you can only sincerely believe so many things. You can't believe that the Earth is a globe, but also, no, it's not. And we don't really know. Like, you gotta... Questions have answers. Sometimes the answer is, I don't know. But then that's the answer, right? So I don't really accept the premise in any way, because are my beliefs limited? Well, my religious beliefs are. I limit the things I believe into evidence. Like, I'm not going to believe that human beings have secret weather machines that create hurricanes until I have evidence to believe that. I'm going to choose to believe the thing that makes the most sense, which is that climate change is causing that, right? So I'm not really going to entertain ridiculous conspiracy theories that don't have any evidence. Is that limiting my beliefs, or is it just examining the evidence and coming to a different conclusion that this person doesn't like? So they're trying to make it seem like a more high-minded question than it actually is. Like, this kind of shit really annoys me, that people just make it so much more high-minded than, like, we don't agree. Like, we don't have to. It's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. But I think it comes from a self-conscious place. The very existence of disagreement and the fact that I am comfortable disagreeing and have, I don't give any, like, reverence to religion or anything. I think that bothers him, because it's like, I don't know. It's that thing where sometimes just coming across a vegan, somebody be like, oh, what, you think you're better than me because you're a vegan? You're saying I got some kind of problem? And it's like, no, that person's just a vegan. Don't worry about it. But so sometimes we just don't hear disagreement as a personal attack, depending on how personal those beliefs are to us. And then, okay, sorry, last thing here that I thought was worth shouting out. Wait, no, sorry. I have two things. One that legitimately just pissed me off. I got really, really mad at somebody in a way that I really haven't in a long time. So I'll close out with that. Oh, wait, no. Let's close out with this. Okay. This is by far, easily, without question, my least favorite kind of comment to ever get. So PSA, never ever leave me your health advice. I don't want to hear that shit ever.
The water of life.
I understand it comes from a good place. I didn't appreciate it as a witness either, when other witnesses would tell me stuff I should be doing for my Crohn's disease or whatever. So I never like that in general, even when it's well-intentioned. And this, I would say, was probably not well-intentioned. This person, top A position academy. So this person's from an academy. So they are smart, probably smarter than me. I don't have a college degree. It says, don't get angry. I think this is on the video where I talk about my, like, health issues in detail. The one, like, the Because You Left Jehovah video, I think is what it is. But I even show like a picture of me like with my ostomy after surgery. So it's like a personal one. And this person says, "Don't get angry, but you did that to yourself because you were fooled into eating an American diet. Now that I eat the proper human diet, everything is better." So I said, "Screw you, fooled into eating an American diet? You know nothing about my diet. How dare you suggest I did this to myself?" Really disgusting comment. And then this person did not go screw themselves. They said, "My theory is agriculture caused the human deterioration to the mental level that the God idea and enslavement of minds and emotions was established. I don't screw, but I am disgusting to some." Weird comeback. Also, they added, "Don't be a pussy. I was fooled too and did it to myself too." What are they talking about? Like, what diet are they so sure that I have? Like, I've talked about Crohn's. I never talked about what I eat or what my diet was before I had my surgery, when I was managing, my active disease, and I haven't talked about what my diet is now. So this person just, like, comes in, assumes that I'm eating an American diet, which isn't a thing. There's no such thing as the American diet. But he assumes that I'm doing it, and that I have been fooled into doing it, and I'm an idiot. And as a result of that, I caused my own Crohn's disease and health deterioration. So fuck this person. I legitimately have no idea what he's saying. People are wondering, is he eating cannibalism? Oh. He did say human diet. He eats a diet exclusively of humans. Oh, man. Amazing. Okay. So that comment, this is from a couple weeks ago at this point. I was just pulling comments to react to. And I forgot. I've made a lot of screenshots, but I still follow Paper Bee Gift Shop, which is a JW Etsy shop I made a video about. If you scroll back in the archives, I did a video about JW Instagram, which is a weird one. I don't remember if it's good. So I don't know. Maybe watch, maybe don't. I don't have any strong opinions. But I react to this post that they made that really set me off. And I still follow them, apparently on Threads. So I saw this. They tweet 3 little words of wisdom. It says, "You know what's the best part?" Of what? They just kind of were dropping us into the middle of some thought that they have. "You know what's the best part? Jehovah cannot lie to you. So if he says you are safe, you know it's not just to make you feel better. If he says that he loves you, it's because he does. He is able to give his most precious son to show you that. If he promised you something, he will make it happen." Hearts. Hearts. Woo. This shit drives me insane. So this is a totally different strand of comment. It's not even a comment directed at me. I'm encroaching on their territory, and just now I'm doing what they do to me, and I'm just leaving an angry comment in a live stream. So what? I mean, I understand this is a kind of generic platitude that witnesses make all the time, and that Christians writ large make all the time. Like, hey, God, he promised you this. God is good. He fulfills his promises. He can never lie to you. God is not making any promises to anybody. Like, no Jehovah's Witness has ever had a little sit down with God. And God's like, "Hey, all right, Sister Jones, I promise if you give me 70 hours a month for 30 years, you'll inherit my kingdom." Like, he doesn't do that. They're talking about promises in the Bible that the Watchtower insists apply to modern-day Jehovah's Witnesses exclusively. So they just are talking about the organization. It's just another example of how whenever they're talking about Jehovah, they're talking about the organization, because the only group making active promises is the organization. The Bible is just sitting there, and the governing body are the ones who's like, no, this is what it says, and it applies to you, and here's what it's promising. Trust us. Anyway, so yeah, those were some comments. Got some, and also a post by Paper Bee Gift Shop. So now, I guess let's get into JW Broadcasting. Is that what we want to do? Year text. I forgot about that. Okay. I forgot how the website works for a second. I now have remembered. That went a little long, so I'm going to sacrifice Reddit content. Although, what I will say is a general PSA, definitely get on the XJW Reddit, look at Larchwood's recent post, user Larchington, really good post. They made one yesterday that was fantastic. Oh yeah, the new yearly tech. I really don't even know what that is. I also haven't really heard much about this broadcast. I don't know anything about it. If it's boring, we can just jump to whatever that is. Jump to the year text thing. Is this a better view than the other thing? StreamYard is so bad. I don't know. I don't know if I like that better or not. Ah! People need to see the whole screen. What if something really important?
Welcome to JW Broadcasting.
Happens in that bottom left corner.
This month marks 10 years since the first program debuted. We'll take a look at the special role JW Broadcasting has played in uniting God's people. In part 1 of this episode of Applying Bible Principles, James and Linda were too focused on when the end.
The role of JW Broadcasting, an internet variety show, the role that's had in Jehovah's Kingdom, or whatever he said. All right. This seems like it's going to be really insulting and infuriating. I'm getting mad just thinking about this. James and Linda were too focused on when the end would come. They've been really hitting this point. Don't be so focused on when the end's going to come.
We'll see how they now help others keep a balanced view of the future. And iron sharpens iron.
Oh, yeah, it's
we'll
going to
learn how
happen.
to put our website
It's
to
going to
better
happen.
use in the ministry. This is the October 2024 edition of JW Broadcasting.
Yes, 10-year anniversary. Whoa! And a new globe graphic! Whoa! Same old crusty theme song, though. New globe graphic. Wow. I wish I would have watched this and included that in my country music video. Whoa, the globe turned to
When
a
I first
square.
began serving at Bethel, I'd call home to speak with my
Real Mike Wazowski moment for old Troy Snyder, helper to the coordinators committee, whatever that means.
family, and my mother would always ask, "Have they told you when the date of Armageddon is?" Though she was being humorous and didn't expect an answer, her question reveals what we all long for: Jehovah's promised new world. Maybe you have, in a sense, asked.
I don't think that's a joke question. I don't think that's a joke question at all. That's a real question that witnesses have. I remember other people asking, like my uncle was in Bethel for a while. Now he's just a missionary, and not just a missionary. That's like better. He's like a need greater in Africa, and yeah, ha ha. Very funny joke. But no, like, this isn't a joke. There, I think, is a genuine perception that the governing body and Bethelites have a greater understanding of when the end is coming than normies, than the rest of us normies. And so maybe his mom was joking, not to bring his mother into it, but I don't know. I think a lot of people really wonder this for real. But that's a little signal to Jehovah's Witnesses watching this. Hey, if you're asking that question, that's actually a silly question. Kind of a joke.
Jehovah that question. How much longer, Jehovah? Or said to Jehovah, I'm exhausted. I don't know how much longer I can keep going. Please, Jehovah, when will your promises for a world of lasting peace, refreshment, and relief from the pressures of this world come true? We all likely feel this way from time to time. What can help us not give up?
Ay, papi. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this sucks. It's a birthday, not an anniversary. Oh my god, you're right. I mean, I think you could say either way. But, gets into the arbitrary distinction. 10 years ago was 2014, and that was 100 years after, well, I think you mean 1914, but yes, you're so right. And this is Apostate Barbie's comment, and I don't know if this happened to anybody else. I know I've brought it up on stream before, but at the 2014 International Convention, remember, that was this big unique thing that for the first time, all of the regional conventions were going to be international. There were going to be people from all over the world visiting, and like the conventions were in these massive stadiums as opposed to, smaller stadiums or JW assembly halls. And the reasoning at the time, at least from people like in the convention committees and stuff, which I was dealing with because our congregation was in the drama and I was helping with stuff, was that it's the 100-year anniversary or birthday of Jesus taking the throne in heaven. Something big is going to happen. And really the only big thing that happened was they started releasing more crappy movies, and it was the death of the stage drama because it was the last one they ever did. They replaced it with the kind of weird hybrid stage drama Jesus thing where it's like a different guy lip syncing for Jesus. Yeah. I mean, I think about this a lot. It's very, very sad. Just 100+ years of people living and dying, being certain that the end was just around the corner.
Not give out in our spiritual battle. Note the words of Jesus at Mark 13, verse 29.
Worse.
Notice what he says. Likewise,
Notice!
also you, when you see these things happening,
God damn it.
know that he is near at the doors.
Now, how do they square this with the verse that says, don't listen to people saying that the end is due, the end is here? How do they square that with that verse? And also, this was written, 2,000 years ago? So people have been saying that he's near at the doors for at least 2,000 years. And obviously longer than that, because the Old Testament is quite a bit about the end too. Oh my God! He's mad. But he's telling you what we see.
The end is imminent.
The end is
we
imminent,
recognize
folks.
that we're almost done. That helps us not give
Almost. This time, for sure. I know we were saying that back in 1886, but now, in October 2024, it's really almost here.
What are some of these prophecies? You're familiar with the prophecies of earthquakes, wars and reports of wars, food shortages, and disease. All
Same shit I've heard literally my entire life. I can't handle this. It's so stupid. They've just been saying the same thing. Today, scientists say that the world is on the brink of becoming uninhabitable. Now, I've also been hearing this my entire life from Jehovah's Witnesses. They were kind of weird on climate change. My grandfather was somebody who, for a long time, insisted and said so on the platform a few times, which I think he was counseled not to do because it wasn't an official doctrine from the organization. But he insisted that global warming was happening because Jehovah was preparing the earth for paradise. Because in the paradise, there would be global tropical temperatures all the time, or at least some kind of neutral climate. Insane. Complete silliness based on magical Bible thinking. But these are the kinds of excuses that witnesses have been making for climate change for a long time. And now they're just, folding this into their doomsday predictions. What I find really frustrating about this is that, these really are crises that need to be solved and that have solutions. And groups like Jehovah's Witnesses, and I would argue any group that advocates against climate change legislation and positive steps towards curtailing climate change, those people are in denial and they're actively making the problem worse. This is a real problem. And it would be great if we had 8 million more people in the world who were on the side of saving the planet, but they're not. They have taken their belief that Armageddon is coming and chosen to completely opt out of engaging in any form of political action that might improve climate change. So it's very frustrating. All these groups will recognize that there's a problem, but stop short of saying that we should do anything about it, because that sounds hard.
is on the brink of becoming uninhabitable.
Pointless.
They warn that if action to stop global warming is not taken quickly, its compounding effects will become irreversible.
Hey, I just said that. It's true. But here's what they're going to do. They're like, But Jehovah says that he's going to bring ruin to those ruining the earth. And he's God, so he can just totally reverse anything. It'll be like in Superman when he flies around the world and turns it backwards.
At Revelation 11:18, the Bible foretold that in our day man would be ruining the earth. And it also assures us that
And
Jehovah
it's
will
good.
step in and not let the earth be completely ruined. Some may wonder how much worse things will get. Interestingly, at Luke 17:20,
A lot fucking
Jesus said
worse,
this.
people. That's what it says. Okay, so I want to try and predict what he's going to say. They've been always back and forth on this. Part of the JW end time eschatology, if I may use a big word that I might not be using correctly, they believe that there will be a period where it appears that world peace has been achieved, and that will cause there to be this worldwide cry of peace and security. Like, there will be broad acceptance that we have reached world peace. And when that happens, then the end will come. So it's kind of weird. Like, it almost seems like they believe that mankind will solve this crisis, and then God will be like, just kidding, you idiot. You fell right into my trap. Here's the part where I kill you.
Luke 17:20, the kingdom of God is not coming with striking observableness. This means that world conditions during the last days would not be so extreme that people would be forced to believe that the end is near. As Matthew...
That wouldn't be fair. Because as we all know, on this channel, God is a sneaky boy, and he likes tricks, and he likes to make the entire world a puzzle box. And it wouldn't be fun if just everybody knew that the world was going to end and they needed to serve Jehovah, because then what would be the point of everything we've been doing? No, people have to believe against reason and observable evidence that the end is coming. Because faith is supposed to be this kind of absurd test to believe in stuff where there's no evidence that it's true. And if there was evidence that it was true, that would kind of destroy the point of faith. So obviously the world can't be too bad.
24:37.
Because then too many people wouldn't die in Armageddon.
Indicates they would still be eating and drinking, getting married, and able to carry on their everyday lives. How should this affect us? It should fortify us not to give up. At Mark 13:35, Jesus said we must keep...
It's just don't give up, which was the theme of their convention a few years ago, wasn't it? It's just like, guys, you just gotta keep doing this How many times we gotta tell you? You just gotta keep doing the stuff that you've always been doing. And the end will come at some point. Maybe not before you die. But then you'll wake up in paradise and you'll be like, ooh, good thing I did all that stuff for Jehovah Incorporated.
On the watch. This means stay awake. Be on guard. And in the parallel account, in Matthew 24, Jesus connects this with being ready. What will help us to do this when we feel so exhausted? Where can we get strength to keep up the fight?
Ooh, I hope it's magic. I hope it's just by magically getting the Holy Spirit.
In a word, trust.
Oh.
We all love Jehovah.
Don't we, everybody?
We want to be convinced of Jehovah's loyal love for us individually.
We want to be convinced. I've been talking about this on the channel recently. The weird fascination with making things true, making Jehovah real to you. It's language that I don't really hear other religions use, but you just have to make it real. Like, make the paradise hope real to you. Make Jehovah real to you. He really feels like my friend. You really feel like Spider-Man when you play that game. Like, it's that. And we really want to be convinced that we have a personal relationship with God. It's like almost an acknowledgement that it takes a certain level of pretend play acting. You have to act as if you believe stuff that you don't necessarily believe. I think that's why it gets tricky, the conversation of, did we really believe it? Did I really believe it when I was in? Because it's almost not about belief. It's about acting as if you believe. And that has to be just as good.
Can we trust that he'll always be there to help us? Notice on screen the assurance Jehovah gives at Hebrews 13, verse 5. I will never leave
I think Chandler's trolling.
and I will never abandon you. Jehovah has been sustaining us.
Because if he hadn't been, you would have starved to death. And you haven't. So he just has been sustaining. I know it seems like you're just going to work and earning a paycheck and paying your bills, which is hard to do because probably you're poor because we tell you to be. But actually, it's all Jehovah. And if it wasn't for him, you would have just dropped dead. Now, I know you're thinking that a lot of people do starve to death and do drop dead, regardless of whether or not they serve Jehovah. But that's just it's not, we're not going to talk about that.
Think how he sustained you. Maybe you've experienced the ravages of a natural disaster. Jehovah sustained you.
Greatest
Maybe you dealt with the
username of
loss
all
a loved
time.
one. Jehovah has sustained you.
No. I can't hear this. I can't hear this gaslighting. It's so disrespectful to the difficulty in hard work that goes into everything, of just persisting and enduring in life in general. Like, what does that say for people who don't believe in God, but inevitably lose their loved ones and still don't end up as like crazy vagrants who are tearing their hair out? No, they still manage to grieve and move forward and love again and whatever. Like, it's just so disrespectful to the hard work that goes into trying to be a human. It's like it just takes away all that agency. It's like, no, the only good things, like your hard work is not your hard work. That's just Jehovah kind of giving you the motivation to work hard, but it's not actually you that's doing the hard work, because without Jehovah, you would just be like a couch potato or dead or something.
It says, my helper. We love Jehovah.
But also, if you left in the world, you would be tempted with rich and fame, and you would get it for a while.
We can also be absolutely convinced that Jehovah loves us and will help us individually. At times, it can be difficult to trust that Jehovah loves us personally and will act
After all, he's invisible and doesn't seem to do anything at all.
in our behalf. What can help build our trust in Jehovah's love? Let's discuss 3 ways.
Okay, I'm not actually going to listen to him discuss these 3 stupid ways, but what can cause us to, what can help us to build trust in Jehovah's love? Let's treat this like a real relationship, right? If you and your partner, you're whether you're married or whatever, and you're trying to make it work, but you, as one partner, do not feel the love of your partner, the onus is on you two to, like, communicate about that, and then your other partner would have to do more work to demonstrate their love, or you would have to do more work, whatever. But like, if one of the partners in the relationship wasn't showing love, and it was just on the one person to just trust that that love is there, that would not be considered a healthy human relationship. So why is it okay when it's with an invisible creature who may or may not exist?
First, Proverbs 15. Proverbs 15, notice verse 9. Jehovah detests the way of the wicked one,
I don't even like you.
but he loves the one who pursues righteousness. He loves the one who pursues or chases after righteousness. He knows we can't be perfectly righteous, but he loves us for trying our best. As he said, for pursuing righteousness. He loves us because we don't quit.
No, shut up. I forgot I said I was going to fast forward through this. They say this, and this is the, like, hot and cold of being in a cult, is you are love bombed. You are told, you are enough. You can do it. Of course you can do it. Why else would you be here? But also, are you really trying hard enough? Jehovah will accept your best, but are you sure that you're giving your best? I mean, only you can know that. So hopefully you're right, and you are sinful and imperfect, and you were born in sin. So you could just be lying to yourself, and we'd have no way of knowing, and you just wouldn't make it into paradise, but I'm sure you're trying your best. Because that would be enough for Jehovah. So if it doesn't feel like enough, because of all the times that we're telling you that it probably isn't enough, that's still your fault.
Source of our strength. So he'll try to undermine our confidence. And he hopes that we break away from Jehovah. For example, when Job was undergoing a severe trial,
It
his
seems like
false
apostasy
comforters
stuff.
lyingly said that the reason for these trials was that he'd lost Jehovah's favor. Jehovah
Can anybody who knows about Christianity in any way, holy shit, what a painting, iconic. We might have to do a little art worldly segment. I'm getting distracted. Can anybody who knows about the Bible or mainstream Christianity more confirm to me, like, is the notion of Job having false comforters, is that, like, understood to be, like, Christian doctrine, or is that, like, a unique Jehovah's Witness understanding? God damn it, all the cats, one by one, are coming in and dropping deuces while I'm recording, because the litter box is over there. Absolutely devastating. I don't really understand the false comforter thing. Okay, this is a pretty insane painting. He said, look at the creation. Did God talk about hippos? In, like, buffalo? And cranes in the book of Job? I don't remember those parts.
Reminded Job to look at creation.
Look at the crocodiles.
And to see his love and wisdom. How did faithful Job respond? He said at Job 42:5, my ears have heard about you, but now I do see you with my eyes. We may wonder if we've lost Jehovah's favor. We should ask Jehovah to help.
Maria says that rhetoric worked wonders on me. I still have such a sensitive conscience to things that are actually not bad. It's really hard for me to move on from that. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that can stick with you. And especially, like, that ingrained, constant doubting yourself and constantly shaming yourself. That's a really tough one to get past. Because I just do it without even really thinking about it. Christina and I both do it. And we hear it when the other person does it. We'll both be really hard on ourselves and kind of spiral. And then the other person kind of has to snap them out of it. Because it's like, when we see other people say that, we see that it's absurd. It's not fair. But it's so easy to do that in your own brain. And be like, yeah, no, but I really am not good enough. The one thing that I've been struggling with is ambition, like, as a positive quality. I'm going to try and not make this political. It's not political. I'm just, like, getting over the idea that humility is, like, the point of life, and, like, never maybe it's not humility, it's the seeking great things for yourself. That's the way that JWs would put it. But, like, I do want that, and, like, I felt so much shame for my entire life for wanting to to perform and write. That's what I wanted to do my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. But I just had to train myself to feel shame about that stuff. And so it's like getting over the idea that just wanting anything more than, like, a life of poverty and subservience, that's a tough one to get over. Like, not shaming myself for wanting to, like, do this full time. Maybe not All Worldly specifically, but, you know, YouTube or make a living with art or creative endeavors. That it's not, like, toxic or selfish. It doesn't make me a bad person. That's just, like, a totally invented concept that being ambitious is wrong. That's what's going on in my brain. We must unbrainwash ourselves. Yes, like Yoda said, you must unlearn what you have learned.
Help us see him and see his loyal love for us.
Help me see you. This makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. This is iconic, by the way. Multiple incredible works of art. I almost want to do art worldly. I almost want to just talk about this art, but let's not, because we're having a good conversation. I just want to stop down on this. This feels like a modern day version of I don't remember what those posters are called, but, like, the woman with doing the arm flex. It's kind of war era posters. This is like a modern version of that, with, like, kind of a Karen haircut and a sensible business attire, but carrying a big ancient shield, big Roman shield.
All the wicked ones burning arrows, or all of Satan's spiritual attacks. For example, when we hear lies about Jehovah, his organization, and those who are appointed to take the lead.
He's talking about us. Okay. Amazing. When we hear lies about Jehovah, Now, translation. He means when we hear negative information that starts to make us worry that our religion might not be true. Because, of course, they're never going to say what the lies are. They're just going to say that there are lies so that people start to conflate negative information with false information. And they do this all the time.
His organization, and those he's appointed to take the lead.
Governing
We
body.
will not be shaken.
We will not be
Won't
shaken.
give up or give out.
Will we,
We know the
everybody?
prophecy at Matthew 24:45 has been fulfilled. Jehovah has lovingly provided a slave that's faithful and discreet.
Ugh, I don't know, man. I have a hard time with, like, especially because I left and was disfellowshipped for apostasy, which my whole family knows. I'm like, how do they not watch this and think, maybe he has a point? Maybe they're talking a lot about the governing body and the fact that we can't listen to criticism. You know, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to understand how witnesses can watch this and just think, like, yeah, this is normal. The amount of time, just the amount. Because they didn't used to talk about it this much. There were like a couple articles a year about apostasy. And now, like, it is every month. There's a little section somewhere about, and also don't believe the lies about us on the internet.
We recognize that Jehovah provides spiritual food and direction through this body of men at the right time.
Body of men.
We're not left floundering or trying to find our way. Therefore, we remain obedient and
We're not floundering. We're very stable geniuses. Many people are saying that the governing body are the best people ever in the whole world.
responsive to the direction we receive. We never dismiss it, even if it doesn't appear practical.
We never!
from a
We
human
never!
standpoint.
Wow, there's so many things that they are already doing. I don't even know why he's saying it, because apparently they all are already doing the thing, and they all already know this stuff. So why say it? I don't say, like, you know, me and my wife, we go to this store and pay our bills and go to sleep. Well, that doesn't even need to be said. Because, of course, I was, like, qualified to be alive. And he's like, we don't believe the lies. We are not left floundering. We don't think that the governing body are making stuff up as it goes along. We don't think that, do we? Insane.
Trusting in Jehovah's loyal love has saved his people in the past. In 2 Chronicles chapter 20, verse 1 and 2 tells us that Jehoshaphat learned that a coalition of nations, a large crowd from the region of the sea, were...
This is interesting. From a big fan of the character Man. This is Doak. Perhaps Dr. Doak from GoldenEye 64. I don't think most witnesses believe it. I think they just view it as an argument they have to win. Yeah, that's been an interesting exercise in seeing conspiracy theories about the hurricanes, is that you realize, arguing with people, that it's not really about belief. It's just, okay, if you knock down one argument, they've just got another excuse ready. They'll just say, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And that's kind of what is happening, is they're just supplying their members with all sorts of excuses that they can then use to be like, well, but what about this? But what about this? It's not really necessarily about believing it. It's like, this is the stuff you have to say to keep being a Jehovah's Witness. You just have to. Otherwise, the whole thing falls apart. You wouldn't want that, would you?
coming against him. Jehoshaphat already had the habit of turning to Jehovah. He resolved to search for Jehovah. How did he and his faithful subjects do this? Jehoshaphat poured his heart like water to Jehovah.
Heart like water? Hang on a second. Oh, sorry. I heard it wrong. Jehoshaphat poured his heart out like water. I thought he said his heart like water.
How did he and his faithful subjects do this? Jehoshaphat poured his heart like water to Jehovah.
Wait, he did say it. And then they did the thing where they lie in the subtitles to correct it to what he's supposed to say. It did it when they edited out the name of the university in that Tony Morris video.
Jehoshaphat poured his heart like water to Jehovah. Notice in verse 12 how he expresses his complete
heart like
trust
water
in Jehovah.
Okay,
We
bye.
are powerless before this large crowd that is coming against us, and we do not know what we should do, but our eyes are toward you. How did Jehovah respond?
He didn't. He doesn't respond to things. Okay. Just follow the Jehoshaphat strategy, people. It all makes sense. And how unusual! Unusual? God damn it. Unusual that he put them in front of the armed men. So they're... Oh, no. Are they going to do the, we get directions... We might get direction from the governing body that doesn't make sense from a human standpoint? Because what he's doing is talking about this time when Jehoshaphat had to follow a military strategy that didn't make any logical sense at all. But we believe in the Bible, so we know that God must have had a good reason.
Loyal love.
And they sang songs.
What was the result? Jehovah confused their enemies, and they attacked each other. What lessons can we learn?
Like a
from this
spell
account?
in a video game.
Trusting Jehovah includes trusting his representatives. The
Ah.
life-saving direction we receive from Jehovah's organization may not appear practical from a human standpoint, but we recognize the fulfillment of the prophecy at Matthew 24:45.
My God. So that's just like word for word from that watchtower. They're not even bothering to adjust the language. This is why I firmly reject any notion, any suggestion that they're becoming like more mainstream. This is not mainstream. This is not normal. This is exclusively stuff that extreme cults say. We're going to tell you to do stuff that doesn't make sense, and you have to do it anyway. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. This is not a mainstream religion.
About the faithful and discreet slave, and we're ready to obey any instruction they provide.
Weird.
Yes, getting ready includes building trust and being...
Why is the governing body not held to the same standard? Why don't they have to gain people's trust by giving accurate information? They don't ever apologize when they just change their doctrines arbitrarily. They just had a whole... At the annual meeting, Jeffrey Jackson gave that talk about how you got to expect unexpected changes that come out of nowhere. You know how Jehovah be. And it's like, why is it not required for them to be trustworthy? Trust has to be earned in the real world. You don't just have to arbitrarily trust anybody. Somebody can lose your trust, and then you just don't trust that person anymore. It's kind of on them to earn it back. But to kind of paraphrase Raymond Franz in Crisis of Conscience, it's like the fact that they got a doctrine wrong and admitted they're wrong and then change it is supposed to give you more faith in the future prediction, even though it's just as likely to be wrong. It's really... You can't think about this stuff. You truly can't. You just have to sit and listen and let these words wash over you like heart water. Good God. Yeah, they're going to talk about how old people... Oh, and young people, you're also loved. Old people, sorry the end didn't come yet, but just keep hanging on. All right, let's get into this.
Can you believe it's been 10 years since JW Broadcasting began? That's 120 monthly programs. These programs have unified and strengthened Jehovah's organization. In the next video,
it's the same
we'll
thing.
be reminded of some gems we've received. And we'll hear personal stories that illustrate the impact JW Broadcasting has had on the Brotherhood.
Yes. Okay, Culty Talk rightfully kind of stops down on the wording that was used. We must be ready to obey any instruction. It doesn't say unless it would harm you. It doesn't say unless it would endanger your life or kill you. In fact, just the opposite. The example that he was talking about, I mean, I was scrolling through it, but he's talking about Jehoshaphat and how they put the singers in front of the army. Oh my God, that's crazy. They would be the first ones killed. Doesn't make any strategic sense. So, like, the setup to talking about it is you have to be willing to put your life on the line. And you do. Because of the blood doctrine, you have to be willing to rot in prison. You have to be willing to give your life for the group. But, you know, if your family leaves the religion, fuck your family. You stick with the religion. So it's any instruction. And I've said before, the organization is way too big and international and unwieldy to pull off at this moment some kind of like Jim Jonesian move. That's not really feasible, but they want to have that level of control over them anyway. They want to have that kind of control over their members. And as the group continues to dwindle and become smaller and become more isolated, that then becomes a problem. So I'm not necessarily worried about that now, but I am worried about just the general safety level of Jehovah's Witnesses. Their safety is simply not taken seriously. It's one of the biggest lies that the organization tells. What they care about is not being legally liable. The organization itself. They don't want the governing body to go to prison. They definitely care about that. They do not give a shit about the lives of their members. In fact, they tell them to do irrational things that will kill them all the time. What happens if you're in a terrible car accident and need a blood transfusion? Die. You choose to die. What happens if we tell you to drink poison? Obey any instruction. Insane. I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Let's learn about 10 years of JW fucking bullshit. George is getting upset.
We warmly welcome you, dear brothers and sisters, for our first JW Broadcasting monthly program.
And they kicked it off with a banger. They picked the creepiest, least photogenic person on the governing body. Somebody who really screams in your dreams. I was going to say he screams, you know, creepy, but I think he just screams.
Christian neutrality. Modesty.
Do the math.
What?
One day at a time.
What is this?
Children are an inheritance
Children.
from Jehovah.
Jehovah loves each one of us, despite our appearances, our imperfections.
This is
America's been on a
good?
pattern.
This is a montage of good things? This is bizarre. This montage feels like it accidentally illustrates the thing that I've said on the channel, which is that all these broadcasts are exactly the same and just kind of recycle the same 3 or 4 talking points over and over.
Jehovah's principles looks like this well-balanced family.
Why? This is not a brag.
Sin.
No!
Not discard imperfect humans.
I can't fucking believe this. This is proof positive, to quote Charles T.S. Russell, that Kenneth Flodine has way too much power and influence in this organization, because no reasonable person thinks that the garlic bread in mud illustration is a highlight of the past 10 years of this program. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Like, if I was making a joke montage of the 10 years of JW Broadcasting, I would include stuff like, it's like this wheel, it's like garlic bread. Like, that's what I would do. It just shows the complete lack of self-awareness of the group. Like, they just do not understand how ridiculous and embarrassing they look.
We may worry about what might seem to be big tests, only to find that they're not as overwhelming as we
Big
feared.
luggage illustration.
Each individual grain of sand reveals distinct beauty. That is how Jehovah sees each of you.
This is just my JW Broadcasting video, but without the snark. They're just like, no, actually it's good that we do this.
My personal favorite thing about JW Broadcasting has to be that there are videos on really
George.
everything, whether it's something to help me in school or something to help me in my spiritual life.
We like to theme.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing, because your entire life is your spiritual life as a Jehovah's Witness.
Recently, we did a family worship on neutrality, and we found a lot of great videos that have specifically to do with that.
I use my device quite a bit, and I don't like it to get in the way of schoolwork and family time. So
No, he would
the
never.
video has really helped me manage my screen time so it doesn't come in the way of those things.
Being able to see brothers and sisters from all over the world, all different ages, all different backgrounds, serving Jehovah, it's helped me personally, but I think it's really helped the kids in setting their own spiritual goals and being able to see that there's so much that can be done in Jehovah's organization.
No. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 things that can be done, but just in different countries. I mean, there is a lot. There's a lot of manual unpaid labor that you can do.
No matter what their interests are, that Jehovah can take care of them.
We feel part of Jehovah's worldwide organization. And, you know, at the end of the broadcast, they say, we love you, friends. There's really no substitute for that.
Yes, there is. Real love. That's like when Michael Scott's like, got a gift card. Can't put a price tag on that. Yeah. Unfortunately, strangers, old men who are strangers to you, who wouldn't know you from Adam, telling you that they love you in a creepy, condescending voice in a pre-recorded video, that you can replace that with just real relationships in your real life.
Pioneer, the pandemic lasted so long, and I had various sources of stress. But fortunately, it was the direction from the Discreet Slave, a mother-like organization. They gave us direction every step of the way.
My favorite part of the broadcast gotta be the governing body and how faithful and helpful they are. Amazing. Such humility. That's one of the things we love about the faithful and discreet slave. They're so humble.
That was great. The governing body taught us principles and gave us so much support.
Shameless. Just shameless.
It's been such a joy to hear in the governing body updates that many inactive ones are coming back.
I'm sure it has been a joy to hear that. It's not necessarily true. You don't know if it's true. They're not telling you that the numbers are actually declining overall. But I'm sure it was nice to hear this one data point, which they might have inflated or made up.
I visited a single brother who was inactive for 24 years.
Wait a minute.
Inactive for
That... This looks like a guy that I know in the organization. My parents have quite literally this exact same hot tub and did baptisms in it during COVID. And so that was the thing. It was the thing.
Who was inactive for 24 years.
I know.
And he said several times how he wanted to come back.
That's why I can't feel too bad for my parents. You know, we're over here struggling. They got a jacuzzi. They're doing fine.
I was really
They're doing
happy
all right.
that I acted on the message from the governing body updates.
Ah, the governing body.
It really strengthened my faith. In one governing body update from 2022...
Why? Even when it's not a person who just talks slow, they still will just leave in an awkward silence where this just silent footage of the governing body talking on a touchscreen. Like, look at this.
It really strengthened my faith.
Don't do that.
In one governing body...
They played a whole clip of Sam Hurd to silence. That's bad editing. That's poor. You shouldn't do that in any video for any reason, unless it's a joke.
The update from 2022. They highlighted our return to the in-person ministry. I felt like a brand new publisher when we went out in the field ministry again. I felt like a baby.
I don't know.
A toddler, in a way. So my wife and I prayed a lot to Jehovah for us to be able to have good conversations and to be able to muster up the courage needed. When we actually went from house to house, to our surprise, householders were willing to listen. We felt the support of the Holy Spirit and felt the kindness and help from the governing body during the pandemic.
Oh my God. How many times has Jesus been mentioned in this little montage? The Holy Spirit, but boy, have we mentioned it was the governing body and they were really the ones who were so helpful?
So this gives us the motivation to overcome any obstacle in our way, no matter what the future holds.
We felt the Holy Spirit, which is invisible, and we felt the love of the governing body because they just said it in a video. I mean, it must be God. God must be there.
I got baptized when I was 25 years old. What contributed to me becoming inactive was the lack of Bible study, neglecting my meeting attendance.
I don't know if they've mentioned Jehovah in this video. I feel like it's literally just been the organization and the governing body, and oh yeah, Holy Spirit was there too.
And some bad associations.
Ah.
I remained inactive for 10 years. The
Hard to
JW
imagine.
broadcasting program that helped me to return to Jehovah was a program from February 2016.
Yeah.
Where we find the experience of Brother Derek.
Brother Derek?
Who similarly had strayed away from Jehovah. But he recognized that he had made a big mistake which caused him many problems. So I could relate to Brother Derek.
Ew.
And so I said, why can't I return to Jehovah?
Oh, what a great question. If this manipulative video worked out for that guy, same thing could happen to me.
And get close to Jehovah little by little.
It's very sad to hear when people are out for 10 years and the indoctrination is so strong that they never look at XJW material. They never think to read Crisis of Conscience. They don't do a Google search. Nothing. They just live with that shame the whole time. How miserable. And then I muted it because I just don't care anymore. But as he's talking about his personal experience, they showed this montage of the governing body and governing body helpers. They're still the ones getting all the credit.
I really like everything that comes out on JW Broadcasting.
What if he was like, I gotta admit, a lot of JW Broadcasting is not my thing. I kind of like the song sometimes. Like, of course he likes everything. If he didn't, they wouldn't have put him on camera.
But what I love the most are the experiences of our brothers and sisters that remain steadfast and keep their faith in Jehovah.
I love family worship so much because we get to sit down as a family and practice some kingdom songs, read a Bible story, or watch the broadcast for the month.
That's a good question.
The first time I went to a convention of Jehovah's Witnesses, it was like 10,000 people. When I go in there and I see all these different faces and different colors.
What is the... They just bought stock footage with the green screen so you can make it look like something's playing on a TV. And this is your donations at work.
Like Jehovah's showing me like, hey Rafika, remember you asking me about all different people getting together and being one? See, I'm not partial. They do get along. We are unified.
What?
To know that you have a Heavenly Father that care about you, that was the best feeling on earth. I never thought God had a name. And ever since that day on, I never forget Jehovah's name.
People... I mean, you've heard this experience 10 million times if you're a Jehovah's Witness, that somebody had never heard that God had a name, and then you read them Psalm 83:18, and they realize, what? God's name is Jehovah? And then it's like they fall in love, essentially, and they just love the name Jehovah, and just knowing that God's name is Jehovah is this magical, transcendent experience. I've never understood this. I don't understand it now. Why would that make it good or true? Like, a lot of gods have names. Is that why people, like, convert to Islam? Because they're like, I had no idea that God had a name, and it's Allah. I had just no idea. I had no idea. I had no idea that God had a friend, and his name was Zelf. I never knew that. And then I knew that I had to be a Mormon. I don't know anything about Zelf.
Jehovah and our determination to live by his standards is being tested each day. And yet, because we're being well-fed spiritually, we have everything we need to meet those tests with joy.
We have everything we need. You have everything you need to meet your test with joy. So if you are ever unjoyful in your ministry, can't blame us, the governing body. We gave you everything you need. And you know it's everything you need because we just said it was, and you have to believe what we say. Now, here's what I want to know, Lava Blue. Why aren't we getting the stuff we really want to see? Like, fun behind-the-scenes stuff of, like, Jade and Nita. Like, interview some of the actors who worked in some of the iconic videos. Really, Skylar? Is that true? Is that how you became a JW?
Dear brothers and sisters, please be assured of the warm love of the governing body and our prayers in your behalf.
Yeah.
From the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses...
Not as they are.
...is JW Broadcasting.
Wow. Wow.
What program was special to you?
We know you have one. We know you must have a really special one that you liked so much. Oh, whoa. Hang on.
Is this it? Is this the beginning of the great... Have you ever watched the news and thought, is this it? Is this the beginning of the Great Tribulation? In a previous episode of
No, by the way, because I understand the Bible doctrine that apparently a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses don't. Witnesses just always forget about the peace and security part. They don't know their own doctrines. So no witness should be watching the news and thinking it's going to be the Great Tribulation, technically. Maybe they've got more wiggle room with Jeffrey Jackson's... Any day, all the religions on earth can just magically decide to cede their power to the government because God will put it in their heart. So we won't be able to see it coming because God is just going to plant magical ideas in people's heads and they'll just start doing crazy things. So I guess now you can do
Bible
that.
principles. James and Linda learned to change their focus and maintain joy. Now they'll help a young brother do the same.
I've known James and Linda well.
What are we doing? What are we doing with, like, the racial coding of music on JW Broadcast? Like, why is it that, like, if it's a black person, they always have to play hip-hop beats or, like, you know, what's considered to be black music? And then at the end of this, broadcast, they show these kind of rural white people, and they gotta make it kind of dumb honky tonk music, and they gotta if there's somebody's in Africa, they have to play like tribal sounding drums. They just do this weird stereotyping tokenization thing. I really don't like it.
Forever. They were there when my family fell away. When I fell away.
Oh, bum, bum, bum. How could he fall away?
I knew it was the truth. I just wanted more.
This shit, it's always this. Why is it never somebody who's like, I started to doubt that it was the truth for this reason, and this reason. It's, I knew it was the truth, but irrationally, I wanted to break all the rules because I just thought I could do it. It's not a very honest depiction of how, like, a faith transition happens. Now, I don't know what that music was, to be honest. Wow.
But when the pandemic hit, I knew the end was close.
You were fucking wrong. That was 4 years ago. So you could have waited 4 years and everything would be exactly the same and you'd be no closer.
I started studying again. And got baptized. Just in time.
Just in time for what? United Nations peace talks. Oh, I'm going to pay attention to the news because it might confirm my biblical beliefs, not because I want to be informed on world events.
He keeps passing this blog information and asking for everyone's opinion.
I saw it.
It's the third one this week.
I'll talk to him. He just wants to verify his sources.
What? Okay. Weird. This is weird. This is a new one for me. So, like, this is not a person who is like an apostate sending articles against Jehovah's Witnesses, which we've seen before. They're talking about a thing that does happen, a very niche cultural issue within Jehovah's Witnesses, which is that there are people who like watch the news like hawks and will interpret certain events as being, oh, this is going to be the thing that precipitates the Great Tribulation. And so I guess the problem is like this guy was out, and he came back, but now he's like too zealous. He's just constantly, looking at what the United Nations is up to because they're involved in end times eschatology, and they're going to be important someday. So I think they're counseling against him sending these articles about the news. And they said he needs to verify his sources. But what is that? Well, I guess I should watch the rest of it. Oh, hey, you are not welcome here, Top Pay Position Academy. You're the motherfucker who told me that my Crohn's disease was my fault because I ate an American diet. So, fuck off. You're gonna be banned. Okay. Let's see what this video is about. What is this situation?
Links I sent you.
Of course I read it.
And?
It's exciting to think we could be so close.
And when you watch the news,
we're so close. Oh my god!
It could be any day now.
What's all the excitement?
The cry of peace and security.
Oh, here comes fucking Buzz Killington in to be like, oh, what's all the excitement? You think the end's gonna come soon? No, it's not. The opposite of what Jesus said. What is this? It's so weird that they're like, guys, don't be so obsessed with when the end is coming. Just get out there and preach every single day as much as humanly possible because the end is coming really soon. It's just around the corner. We wrote a whole song about it recently. But don't you think that it's coming just around the corner. It is. But don't say it or try to interpret how close it is. Because you could build up false hope in the Brotherhood, and we wouldn't want that now, would we?
Tulani, remember Jesus said, no one knows the day or hour.
But he said we should keep on the watch.
I think it's great you keeping the end close in mind.
Because of you and Linda. Both of you have shown me how close...
It's your fault, James and Linda. Look what you've done. You've created a monster.
I have to take this quickly, but I'll see you on Friday.
Nice save.
I saw what was happening in the world, and you both helped me put it all together.
We just want to be sure you are focused on the right.
Yes, that's why I hate
We
it.
can all start thinking too much about when the end will.
You know, like, this stuff's extra triggering to me because I talk about it in my, like, Why I Woke Up video, but one of the things that kept me in as a witness for a long time was the persecution complex. I had a Catholic teacher when I was in 4th grade, and I was sick a lot that year, and she did not like that I was a Jehovah's Witness, and she told my mom, like, in front of my sister and me, that I had Crohn's because of their religion. And that really kept me in because it was a really fucked up thing to say. Now, like, I don't doubt that stress exacerbates symptoms, whatever. Like, that's kind of a complicated conversation, but it's just not cool to say that. And so it's like, not only is it incredibly disrespectful and just stupid and ignorant, it's just like, it's very personally triggering. So truly, I put up with a lot of stuff in chat. I'm not going to put up with people shaming me and, like, blaming me for having a disease I was born with.
But I'm just being alert. Isn't that what you taught me to do?
This is insane. This is gaslighting.
And if the end is really so far
Alert is good. I want to hear him say that
what
again.
you taught me to do?
Alert is good.
And if the end is really so far off,
Why did I need to change my life now?
The last of the last days. Undoubtedly, before the final part of the last day. This is what the governing body says. This is what they do. Like, this is really nuts. This is one of the most, like, blatantly gaslighting, manipulative talks or videos I think they've done, because it's just, like, this is just cognitive dissonance. It is. You have to preach and be active and participate because the end is coming. And God forbid, literally, that you start missing meetings around the time when the Great Tribulation starts, because it could be any day. But don't say that. And don't be watching world events and trying to figure out when the end's going to come. You're just setting yourself up for disappointment. Not us. Not the religion. We're not setting you up for disappointment. That's something that you're doing to yourself by taking seriously the warnings that we are giving you. Ugh, gross. This is a really gross one. We're going to have to do a palate cleanser after this, my friends. My friends.
You are asking the right questions. There was a moment in our lives when we focused too much on the when rather than the why we were serving Jehovah. It affected.
Oh, I'm starting to get upset. Because now I see what they're doing. I'm just going to have to... Hang on a second. I'm just going to prepare myself. I'm foreseeing the calamity and concealing myself. Real Jehovah's Witnesses will know what I'm saying. Oh, yes. This is much needed. Food at the proper time. We had a lot of poo at the proper time, as you can smell. It's a peachy break. We need a break. We need a break with our animal friends. Okay, that's not a real song, but you know what is a real song is this. Wow.
Our spiritual paradise is a place that has many harmless animals.
Now, what do we mean by this?
We mean this. We mean Peach. This is a happy baby right here. Just having lots of good snuggly naps today. Having a great time. Thank you, Peach, for keeping us sane, reminding us that beauty exists in this world, perfection exists. You have any remarks to make into the microphone? No.
She's not even looking at the camera.
No, she refuses.
Like,
she refuses.
She's such a diva.
Really a diva. I feel like we're getting into Stay Alive till 75. Am I wrong? It really feels like that's what they're setting us up for. And I just happen to know that there's like a section on Crisis of Conscience on that. So let's prepare our farts for that.
Our zeal, our happiness, our perspective. And we'd never want that for you.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to start smoking on stream. That's just what's gonna happen.
This is the answer.
Did they say the 1975 thing, or did I just miss it? They just says there was a time. There was a time before. Doesn't matter when. We'll put everybody in 70s clothing. And you know it's 70s clothing because they're all... It's my clothing now.
I never want that for you.
Oh!
This is the answer.
Did we enter the JW cinematic universe? Oh my god. One of the great regrets and pains of my life as a YouTuber has been I made a really funny... Okay, I don't know if it was that funny. But I made a, like, MCU cinematic universe JW thing for a video probably 2 years ago now. And you've never seen it because it got copyright struck immediately. And I could not get it to work. Just any variation of the Marvel theme, it didn't work. And it kind of doesn't work if you speed it up, you know. And if it's not the Marvel theme, I don't want it. I want the real deal Holyfield. So this is a continuing couple. All right, interesting. I don't think I watched last month's broadcast. I don't think we watched it. But maybe we can... Well, let's finish this and let's get into the 1975 thing. Read Ray Franz.
Since all these things are to be dissolved in this way, consider what sort of people you ought to be in holy acts of conduct and deeds of godly devotion.
We don't know when the end will come. Could be tomorrow.
What? No! Don't say that.
A little longer.
A little longer. Not even in this video are they going to say it could go on for another 100
But what
years.
matters is the
a little
coming
longer than
passing
tomorrow.
hour when it comes.
You can tell this is really sinking in because of his dead cult eyes.
So focus on your love for Jehovah.
Besides, time flies when you're not having fun
His
ever because it's not
organization.
allowed.
His work.
Ugh.
Take the excitement you have and direct it the right way.
The right way. The right way is manual labor for the group. That's how you channel your desire for the world to end. And by the way, that's always been the case. That's been the case. Once Russell started getting the ball rolling on his, using his wealth to start these periodicals and get his stuff on radio stations, then they started publishing articles like, you need to get out there and preach. You know the end's coming too. You should get out there. You got to get out there and spread the good news too. Like, that's how the preaching work started. It was just telling people, like, hey, don't just sit around and wait for the end to come. You got to tell everybody about it. The end is nigh. Yeah. Now, am I wrong, or did they end it with the African drums? What the fuck is happening? Okay, so I think there's an appendix, actually, in Crisis of Conscience, because he's a legend. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different Buke. Why did I think there was an... Oh, there is. An index, I mean. I think... It doesn't look like there's... Where would that even be in the appendix? Because there's not one for numbers. Numbers concern for. Aha! You know that thing that would happen when, you're a believing Christian, Jehovah's Witness or whatever, and you just flip open the Bible to a verse that happens to be significant, and you're like, oh, that has to be Holy Spirit. I flipped open the book, and look what happened. 1975, the appropriate time for God to act. Amazing. So he starts this out. Let's just do a little Ray Franz reading. Some good chill. EPUB version? I think that, I don't think that there's janky ones of it. Just make sure you're getting the latest edition. I think the latest edition came out in like 2011 or like a little bit before he passed, because he would do updated editions. I think the first version that he wrote didn't have anything about the Proclaimers book because they hadn't written it yet. And in fact, the Proclaimers book was an attempt by the organization to write their own history after the devastating impact of Crisis of Conscience. Yes, I've heard that there's kind of a audiobook version of it on Spotify, like somebody reading it. I've heard part of it. It's very listenable. Okay. Let's read this part. But truly, if you Google it, and just look at the front, inside covers, see what version it is. Okay. This chapter starts, during the second half... Oh, my camera's doing the fucking thing. Stop it, camera. No! During the second half... My microphone closer now. During the second half of Rutherford's presidency, most of the older time prophecies so strenuously argued for in the first... What? Oh, I see. Most of the older time prophecies so strenuously argued for in the first half were gradually dropped or relocated. The start of the last days was moved from 1799 to 1914. The 1874 presence of Christ was also moved up to 1914, as had already been done in 1922 with the 1878 official start of Christ's active kingdom rule. The beginning of the resurrection was moved from 1878 to 1918. For a time, it was even claimed that 1914 had indeed brought the end of the world, in the sense that God had legally terminated the worldly nation's lease of power on the earth. This too was dropped, and the end, in that sense, is now held to some future, or to be future. All of these things claimed being invisible. I didn't read that quite right. He's saying, these are all invisible. The acceptance of them obviously depended entirely upon one's faith in the interpretations offered. After one session in which these time prophecies and changes came up for discussion, governing body member Bill Jackson smilingly said to me, "We used to say you should just take the date from this shoulder and put it on the other shoulder." Brutal. So, let's see. So the 1975 thing, because I'm reading this because what the modern versions of the governing body do, and they've done this since 1976, essentially. God damn it. Sorry. Let me see if I can just get this thing to stabilize a little bit. Ugh. I think it's because of this light, this horrible window. Oh well, I keep looking down. It's fine. Just listen to my words, not the blur. Am I too quiet now? Because I am a little bit far away from the mic now. So, in 1966, the organization said that instead of coming in 1874, as previously taught, the end of 6,000 years of human history would arrive in 1975. This was first published in the summer of 1966 in a book written by Franz titled Life Everlasting in Freedom of the Sons of God. In its first chapter, the book drew upon the Jubilee arrangement, very JW language, which had also featured prominently in the predictions relating to 1925, and it argued, as had also been done back then, in favor of belief in 6 days of 1,000 years each, during which mankind was to experience imperfection, to be followed by a 7th day of 1,000 years in which perfection would be restored in a grand jubilee of liberation from slavery to sin, sickness to death. So here's the quote. According to this trustworthy Bible chronology, 6,000 years from man's creation will end in 1975, and the 7th period of 1,000 years of human history will begin in the fall of 1975 CE. So, 6,000 years of man's existence on Earth will soon be up, yes, within this generation. So what will be the significance of this? The book goes on to make the application of the points developed. It says, how appropriate it would be for Jehovah God to make this coming 7th period of 1,000 years a Sabbath period of rest and release, a great Jubilee Sabbath for the proclaiming of liberty throughout the earth to all its inhabitants. This would be most timely for mankind. It would also be most fitting on God's part, for remember, mankind has yet ahead of it what the last book of the Holy Bible speaks of as the reign of Christ Jesus over earth for 1,000 years. It would not be by mere chance or accident, but would be according to the loving purpose of Jehovah God for the reign of Jesus Christ, the Lord of the Sabbath, to run parallel with the 7th millennium of man's existence. So here's what Franz says here. Had the organization said flat out that 1975 would mark the start of the millennium? No. But the above paragraph was the climax to which all of the involved, carefully constructed argumentation of that chapter have been building. No outright unqualified prediction was made about 1975, but the writer had been willing to declare it to be appropriate and most fitting on God's part if God would start the millennium at that particular time. It would seem reasonable that for an imperfect man to say what is or what is not fitting for the Almighty God to do would call for quite a measure of certainty. Surely not the mere expression of an opinion. Discretion would require, rather would demand that. Even stronger is the subsequent statement that it would be according to the loving purpose of Jehovah and for the reign of Jesus Christ, blah, blah, blah. Once again, I hit puberty just then. Once again, the Watchtower's recent history book, Jehovah's Witnesses, Proclaimers of God's Kingdom, had an opportunity to demonstrate the objectivity and candor its forward promises. What? In a very brief presentation of the matter, it said this on page 104. It says, I'll read this and then I'll be done. I know I've been reading for a minute here. At the convention held in Baltimore, Maryland, this is the Proclaimers book published by Jehovah's Witnesses, F.W. Franz gave the concluding talk. He began by saying, just before I got on this platform, a young man came to me and said, "Say, what does this 1975 mean?" Brother Franz then referred to the many questions that had arisen as to whether the material in the new book meant that by 1975 Armageddon would be finished and Satan would be bound. He stated, in essence, it could, but we are not saying. All things are possible with God, but we are not saying. And don't any of you be specific in saying anything that is going to happen between now and 1975. But the big point of it all is this, dear friends, time is short. Time is running out. No question about that. In the years following 1966, many of Jehovah's Witnesses acted in harmony with the spirit of that council. However, other statements were published on the subject, and some were likely more definite than advisable. This was acknowledged in the Watchtower of March 15th, 1980, so 5 years later. But Jehovah's Witnesses were also cautioned to concentrate mainly on doing Jehovah's will and not be swept up in any dates in expectation of an early salvation. What I like about this, sorry, I just keep reading Ray Franz. This gaslighting is so insulting. He says, approximately 2/3, this is Ray Franz now, approximately 2/3 of the present organizational membership has entered since 1975, and therefore did not have the experience of knowing what followed. They have no knowledge of the extent and intensity of the emphasis given to the date of 1975 and the significance attached to it. But the writers of the governing body do know this. At least some of those on the writing committee must have read and approved what appears in the 1993 history book. They had to have known what an incomplete and watered-down picture it offers. And so then he goes into the intensity of this stuff, right? But I think the way he lays this out is really brilliant. If you haven't read Crisis of Conscience, it's really great. And as he says, it really is like, when you start going down the rabbit hole of all the times they talk about it, it's really surprising. That's valid. I haven't read Crisis of Conscience yet because, honestly, the writing style is triggering from my childhood. Yeah, he writes very witnessy. I think that's why it's a lot of times, like, comforting to read as a PME, because it feels like, you know, it reads like Jehovah's Witness stuff. Now, weirdly, their stuff is so soulless and has so even attempted style at all that Franz is at least a little refreshing, but it still has that like awkward using 5 words when 2 would do sort of thing. All right, so we can't control when the end would come. Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to see this. It's just going to make me sad. It looks like some person was in a band and then quit the band to be in the organization. This guy talks about submitting to Jehovah. Okay. All right. Just keep saying it's hard. It's hard. Let's see. I don't know. Do we really want to watch this? I think we get it. He's just going to say the same thing. Again. Oh, let's hear this. Let's hear the proof.
With us, lives that. Do you see the signs? Do you see the evidence that Jehovah is giving us to prove he is with us? Do you see Jesus living up to that wonderful name, Emmanuel? For example,
it's not his name, by the way.
Several weeks ago, we had a report from the writing committee.
Christ, as a matter of
fact.
fact.
The obstacles of the past year, do you recall that report? The work in the writing department, art department, MEPS, text processing, translation services, the work didn't stop. It didn't even slow down. Bible translations of 2019.
That's... I don't know. I guess that's subjective. The extent of how fast the work is versus how slow it was. But, I mean, there was some slowing of the amount of hours reported in the ministry and the amount of people coming into the religion.
33 were released. 2020, 33 were released. Add the comments from Wednesday about a country that is now having more and more Bible studies and an increase in interested ones and baptisms. These are more than
country.
Updates. These
Not
are more
this
than
one.
Just statistics. Do we see them as evidences that with us is God and that he...
Quick point that's been made by a million different people before. But this can't be evidence for the truthfulness or trustworthiness of the organization, because other religions also do the same thing. Other religions that have more members and are growing faster and losing fewer members than Watchtower. You know, so does that make those religions more true because they are having more progress? I don't think Watchtower would accept that, so they shouldn't accept the premise that these numbers have anything to do with the organization at all.
Us up in our undertakings. That's what we want to understand.
The Undertaker.
No, we're not perfect. We'll get there at the end of the 1,000-year reign. But compare the leadership and rulership of Emmanuel, Christ Jesus, with
Emmanuel.
Leadership. Look what we have.
Oh,
wonderful to contemplate. After reading
of the Bible,
ask yourself, how did Jehovah keep his word in this situation?
Yeah, okay. Great pause face. What would be a good verse to read that in about Jehovah keeping his word? Well, you could read this chapter of the Bible called Genesis. I think in chapter 3, when God says that the very day you eat from the tree that you will die. And then Eve does eat from the tree. And in that very day, she doesn't die. And actually it takes like hundreds of years for them to die, which doesn't even correspond with the day is 1,000 years thing that Jehovah's Witnesses teach. So, you know, that's one that comes to mind.
How does this show God is with us today?
How does
Then
it show?
Take that knowledge and assimilate it into your own life and personal circumstances. Build your confidence in the situation that you are in.
Why is the screen so different now?
So what have we learned?
Get back to normal.
When we know that God is with us, we are convinced that he will bless us every time. We have to bring ourselves into submission to Jehovah. And
bring yourself into submission. Creepy. Really creepy. Do we see and appreciate the evidence? The question is this good evidence? Is this actually evidence at all? Or is this pure coincidence that we're spinning as evidence? And do you find this evidence convincing? And you have to. You are mandated to find that evidence convincing because it's the only evidence you've got. And the consequence of not finding it convincing is your religion isn't true and you'd have to leave. And we all know that's going to be a pain. So don't do that.
Next in our program, we'll hone
Yeah,
our
exactly.
skills in the ministry by using our website in the next installment of Iron Sharpens Iron.
Hi, I am Jacob. Welcome to...
Oh, it's me! Yo soy Jacob. I'm kind of obsessed with Iron Sharpens Iron. It's really weird. It's really weird that they do this. I mean, I do little segments on this show. So, I like that they do that. I think it's creepy that they call it Iron Sharpens Iron, and that it's like different overseers of different departments, clearly in their Bethel apartments. This clock is the clock that my parents have. It's from IKEA. Actually, I think most of this furniture is from IKEA. It's just like a little Bethel apartment. But it's like, hey, it's your boy, Jacob. And today we're going to talk about how to properly highlight your watchtower.
Iron sharpens iron.
They think it's a real show. It's cute. And you always have a good, like, the guy really intensely researching.
Means being familiar with our message and the tools we use to share it.
He's got a tool right here for you.
One of those tools is JW Library.
Oh, brother. No. We're not going to go through a step-by-step tutorial on JW Library, but we are going to watch whatever this creepy demonstration is.
But how can it make us better? Let's see in this demonstration.
Is everything okay?
Really not sure what
Something just reminded me of
Mavro
my
was talking
dad.
about in chat.
No need to be sorry. Do you want to talk about it?
The smallest things remind me that he's not
She looks
here.
like Beanie Feldstein?
I'm fine.
That actress?
The next in tears.
There's something that helps me when I get overwhelmed. It's a promise of our future.
No, don't do this. Don't do this to people. Don't turn somebody's grieving into a opportunity for you to give your little religious presentation. No. Very weird. Let's just see the country music video. All right, enough. Let's just see this a little bit without the Glitter Gulch Mine theme. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. It's so strange. And are we to understand that that's a group of Jehovah's Witnesses playing the instruments because they're playing the song? Yes! Pulling out your phone in the middle of a grief session is really off-putting. I mean, just like, even imagine any other version of this. Like, it doesn't even matter what it is. I would never be like, you know what really helps me when I'm having a hard time is just listening to my favorite comedy podcast because it's funny. Here, let me pull that up on my phone and show you a little bit of it. Really weird. Like, just, it's not the right time. It does seem like a Bud Light ad.
When I drive my car or I take a train, there's
No. Well, I got Jehovah in my pickup truck and my JW Library app on my thing. No, okay, that's enough of that. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. Tough. Very tough. I really wonder what my family thinks of this in particular, because my family really hates country music, a tradition that I carry on to this day. I mean, there's country that I like, but the kind of modern pop country stuff I really don't like. I think my version's better, by the way, just because I think Grant Kirkhope is a better composer than Watchtower Music Department employee number 3. Okay, I need to... Do we want to just do chit-chat and do a hangout? I'm going to take a little break, but I have a special treat for people who wanted to hang around. I got to fill my pipe. And we're going to watch a glorious supercut is what we're going to watch. And it'll be interesting to see if this gets the stream demonetized, because I use a song, and I don't know if it's going to be legal.
But the first talk of our symposium will be given by the longest-serving plumber, Brother Shüsh. Brother Shüsh will now discuss the theme, Our Privilege to Glorify the Devil.
Oh, happy day. Did you look into a mirror? In a mirror, the term of mirror.
Christians reflect like mirrors. Also, Christians themselves reflect like mirrors to a mirror. Compared to a mirror that reflects. Glass mirrors were introduced.
Oh, happy day.
The glory of glory. Well, there are different types of glory. Let's discuss 40 to 44 types of glory. Glory. The glory. Then there's the glory of glory. A glory.
And the glory of the stars is another. The glory of the moon is another. In fact, star differs from another star in glory.
From one degree of glory to another. More glory, crowned with glory, and glory for having suffered glory. The third point, a measure of glory. Number 4, they had a measure of glory, everlasting glory. Everlasting glory. But we have today not a few, but many glorious ones, sitting even in the audience right here. How so? Because the expression glorious ones refers also to glorious ones. Who were the glorious ones?
Be submissive to such glorious ones.
Certain glory. There's a glorious good news.
The good news.
In fact, the good news.
The good news.
Glorious good news.
Good news.
And number 5, children. Children, younger ones. You too, yes, we all can glorify Jehovah. How? In at least 6 ways. Or
Okay. So that's basically that. I also made a fun edit last night that I'll put it on TikTok. It's not JW related. Hey, thanks for the 99-cent super sticker? No, super sticker from Dr. Shemp. Appreciate it. What was I smoking when I made that? I mean, listen. So I always start the awkward silence supercut things with the intention of just doing the awkward silences. And there's an insane amount of them in that Gerrit Loesch talk, but there was also an insane amount of them in the Gage Flegel talk. I think when I release the final video, the segment won't be that long. But he says glory so many times, I thought, oh, well, I'll do a supercut like I did with that good news guy. But honestly, he says it so many times that it becomes painful. Like, it does a thing where it's like, oh, this is annoying, now it's funny again. And then I think it goes on a little bit too much longer after that, so I'm still figuring out the pacing of that one. The answer is always marijuana, by the way. That's the only thing I smoke. The glory of glories. It's also just kind of fun to try and make it seem like he is saying a sentence, but he just keeps ending it in glory. Okay, so let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah. Let's look at this, what this year text thing is. Do we want to? I guess I've got to cover it. Unless it's just some old talk that they're recycling. Yeah, there's also just a lot of really funny stutters from him. Okay, we'll do the year text thing. I've been curious about doing like a debate stream type thing for the election. Fun. I've seen a lot of the atheist channels doing it, and I know I've got a lot of different, voters from across the political spectrum, or maybe non-voters, whatever. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a call-in show. I mean, I'll be nice. I always just let, whenever I'm talking to people I don't agree in. Like, if you're a dick to me, I'll be a dick to you, but for the most part, I'm not a Matt Dillahunty type. No matter how much I'd like to be. I just don't. I don't have his chutzpah. But I was thinking about doing some kind of stream like that closer to the election. So let me know if you think that would be fun. You know, if you're voting for anyone other than Kamala Harris, who I'm voting for. I'd like to hear about it, and we can talk, see if I can change your mind, or if you can change mine. I was thinking about doing that. Probably not today, unless we're really feeling freaky and spicy and wanting to cause chaos. But this is nice. We're having a nice time. We don't need to ruin it with my shrill SJW liberal tears.
Well, I don't have to tell you that many people today are totally self-absorbed.
Wait. We watched this, didn't we? Because we laughed at this. I remember this immediately. This is just from the annual meeting, right? So I think we've seen this. Oh, okay. Good question from Skylar Black for any Stoner Sunday service watchers. I am more of an indica person these days. Find that it helps calm my anxiety. I struggle with anxiety a lot. And there was ADHD, but the ADHD medicine I take, like, there's been a supply issue with it in my area, so I had to get a different brands of it, like take it twice a day instead of once a day, and so it's getting that kind of jittery, anxious feeling in my chest more. And yeah, indica kind of helps with creative stuff, I found. So usually, yeah, when I'm editing these videos, that's what I'm doing. Sativa is also good. Sativa a little bit sometimes, depending on the brand, will make me more anxious. I don't get the full-blown panic attack thing that some people get. I thankfully haven't. Do I have to get out of Ohio? No, it's legalized here. Thanks to voters, by the way, during an election where I got to work the polls. And yeah, we were able to get legal weed and abortion access. And then our Republican majority in the Senate and all that tried to stop it from happening, but the voters prevailed.
They spend a lot of time on the internet, a lot of time on social media.
Yeah, okay. I guess this is just the thing that we saw before. Yeah, so I guess go back and watch my full annual meeting stream to see this. Wait, did he say pie? I thought I saw the word pie come up on the screen, and that excited me a little bit, because then I thought I could do my mother's sweet potato pie. A little bit of fun. Okay, so yes, and he does the thing where they're singing. I'm excited to get to David Splane's part of the annual meeting. Maybe we could watch it. Here's what we could do. Let's kill two birds with one stone here. I don't need to... We can skip past the parts they talk about the music, I guess. But... I need to watch this anyway, so I can edit it for an Awkward Silence supercut. And what I'm going to be doing after this is just editing, just working on videos and stuff. So, I think what I want to do is watch this, and you guys can help out in chat. If there's a funny turn of phrase that he has that we could play with, tell me. Let me just open... I'm just going to open my email. I don't think I have Word on this. So I'm just going to start an email draft to myself and kind of make some notes with timestamps on when he says things, because that's what I have to do to make the poops. These kind, internet poops.
Well, I don't have to tell you that many people today are totally self-absorbed. They spend a lot of time on the internet, a lot of time on social media, talking about themselves, talking about their own accomplishments.
Okay, so right off the bat, this seems like it'll be very easy for me to make it seem like he's talking about the governing body. Spend a lot of time talking about themselves and their own accomplishments. I almost don't even need to write that down because it's the very first thing he says.
And that's in contrast with Jehovah's people, because Jehovah's people are concerned with giving God glory. And this is in line with what we read
is
at
sped up,
Psalm
by the way.
96 and verse...
Doesn't this just sound like a normal speed that he's talking? This is 1.2 speed.
8. Now, this is the only text we're going to read during this talk. And I am going to have a look at the words in the phrase that we're going to be reading. So please, let's look it up. I'll give you a moment to find it.
Very exciting.
If you're like me, sometimes it takes a little while to find things in the Bible.
All right, low stakes conspiracy. Are you ready for this? I have a little conspiracy about the fact that he says this.
Welcome, Internet. I'm so happy to share with you this conspiracy theory.
I think that David SPLANE has heard the criticism that he seems like a really condescending asshole who always says, like, I'll give you a minute. If you need to think about that. He's always making little condescending comments. And I think this was an attempt by him to be humble and say, I'll give you a minute. I know if you're like me, it sometimes takes me a minute to find verses, so that's why I'm saying that. Not because I'm an asshole. That's what I think was happening. I think that was his shadow leaking out a little bit of shadow leakage. Fans of the Elephant Graveyard channel will know what I'm talking about. Carl Jung talked about the shadow self that we don't like to acknowledge, but it's there. And in order for us to have peace and harmony in our lives, we have to be able to reconcile our shadow self. And I think what we're seeing here, a little bit of his ego. He knows he sounds like a complete tool when he says that. He was trying to save face.
Psalm 96 and verse 8. And it's just the first clause, the first phrase that we're going to look at.
I've got a lifelong issue with this, I understand.
It says, give Jehovah the glory due his name.
Do his name. Okay, so do at 116. There's a really good do, and you can always do fun stuff with do. So that's 216. I'm just writing down timestamps. The first 2 minutes are just funny material for making it sound like the governing body are dunking on themselves. Do his name. You need to do his
Give
something.
Jehovah the glory, do his name.
Wait, no, that was 116, not 216. What am I doing? Okay. Also, glory. People are mentioning glory holes in comments, so let's also make a note of that we should do glory hole stuff. While remembering that the Gerrit Loesch section is 3 straight minutes of him saying the word glory, so I don't want to do too much with that word.
Now, what were the circumstances during which these words were first spoken?
This is fucking deep. I never even thought about that.
They were first spoken on a very happy occasion, a special spiritual occasion.
Okay, I am thinking we could do crappy. Like, he hits happy really hard and clean. And so we could, if there's a cra sound at some point that's clear, we could make him say, like, a crappy occasion, or something like that.
They were first spoken. They're part of a song. That song was first composed by David.
We have to think of the game, too. Like, what's the game of the scene? And there can be different sections of it, obviously. I would say the first part of the awkward silence supercut is Gage Flegel. True, just awkward silence. He does it a bunch. Although, I don't know. Jeffrey Winder does it so much. I started last night, and honestly, I got bored. I made a Donald Trump YouTube poop that I could show at the end of this. I uploaded it on my TikTok. But you want to have like a game to the scene. You want to kind of think of jokes. I usually don't bother doing it with the awkward silence supercuts because I just am pasting together silence and dumb shit. But I'm trying to do better about like making there be a game to each speaker's thing. And we do have to think of the only. Sorry, I just read the word only on screen. We got to figure out what the game of David SPLANE's thing is. It could definitely be him talking about how self-absorbed the governing body is. I don't think he has said governing body yet. And it's good to use stuff from the same talk. You've probably seen videos of mine where like I'm splicing in stuff from different talks. It's a little distracting because even if it's like they're always wearing a little bit of a different suit, their weight, their face shape has changed, especially if it's Stephen Lett. You can't really do it.
When he was bringing the Ark of the Covenant back to Jerusalem. So you can
I'm
imagine
still listening,
the
but I
joy
gotta grab
with
some
which
water.
these words were spoken. And finally, eventually, that song became part of the theocratic songbook that the Israelites used when they were praising Jehovah. Now we're going to focus on 3 words in this phrase that I just read: glory, due, and name. Give Jehovah the glory due his name. Now, when you think of the word glory,
Stop
what
the
comes to your mind?
presses. Stop the presses.
If you're like me,
Stop, everybody.
you probably think of a
Oh my god. He finally said a thing. He did a good setup for a joke here. Okay. So we have a pretty good setup here. I think I kind of fumbled the ball on the awkward silent supercut I did of the convention. But I like the idea of this. David Blaine says we're going to focus on 3 words. That's going to be the theme of the talk. And we could make, like, we just got to make it 3 funny words. We could make it 3, like, silly words. We could make him say just a funny sentence that's 3 words long. Or we could just, like, do the YouTube poop thing of, like, you know, kind of, like, loop the words so it just sounds like gibberish. Like, all right, we're going to talk about these 3 words. Guys, and yeah. So we could do that. But at 2:08, he mentions 3 words. That's what I want. By the way, this is why I love all of my patrons and paid YouTube members, because I'm saving up to get the pro version of my video editing software, which makes, like, auto generates subtitles for every video that you import and, like, timestamps it. So, like, I can go through a transcript and click on a word. As you can see, that would save a ton of time with doing these stupid things, which I really only do out of some weird brain disease that I have where I find this satisfying. Okay, 3 words. So let's keep an ear out for what 3 funny words might be.
in this phrase that I just read: glory, due, and name.
Love me do.
Give Jehovah the glory.
Honey, do you live? Oh, yeah, wait a minute. Just a quick doctrinal point. The Israelites absolutely didn't have a theocratic songbook, or in fact, books of any kind, because books hadn't been invented yet. And for a long time, neither had the written language, which is why a lot of those early stories were passed along orally, by oral tradition. I guess I should say, not passed orally. Sounds like a disease.
His name. Now, when you think of the word glory, what comes to your mind?
They're aware.
If you're like me,
She's aware
you
of my
probably
video
think of a
creations.
blinding light, a light that's so intense that you have to shield your eyes.
That's so intense that you have to shield your eyes. That's a funny sentence. What is that? Because we could say, like, a dick that's so intense that you have to shield your butt or something. I think this is how the Sistine Chapel was painted, you know? Is you just... Michelangelo, as Locke calls him in Lost, just looking up at that chapel ceiling, just thinking, but he's really working in his brain, like how Mozart composed in his head, you know? I'm seeing just poops. I'm seeing poop everywhere. And I think that's the same exact thing, and anybody who thinks it's different is insane. Okay, 2:35. Light so intense you have to shield. And shout out to... Oh, fucking hell. I accidentally hit some keyboard shortcut and opened up a new tab. Shout out to the user coming out of my cage who created that website for the archives of jw.org, which has searchable subtitles for all of their videos up until, like, last year, I think. It's amazing. I use it all the time.
A light that's so intense that you have to shield your eyes. And you might think of the words of the Apostle John when he wrote,
Doo-doo, yeah, absolutely. Good call.
Light.
This is a good general note that we can have a lot of fun with doo-doo. Because he hits the word do so hard and in such isolation. You know, like, he's really giving it, like, a lot of space for me to isolate the word do. Do me, absolutely. You can do that. I hope it's used in court. I think these videos will be used in court in my groundbreaking lawsuit against Jehovah's Witnesses.
And so you might ask yourself, How could an imperfect person...
You might ask yourself is a good opening
So you
sentence. Okay.
might ask yourself, how could an imperfect person like me give God glory? Well,
I'm also writing
it all
down
comes
like
together
me.
when we appreciate what the scriptures mean.
Like me is really good. So like what you want to do with these is you're kind of creating like little Lego blocks. You want to have like starts to sentences and middles of sentences and then ends, right? And like transition phrases and stuff. I'm doing it with this because the other ones, like the other two talks I've done are like truly just awkward silence and then a supercut of him saying glory and something else. Mirrors. He talks about glory and mirrors. And so this one I think would be fun if it was an actual YouTube poop and we do sentence splicing and make him say dumb shit, because I haven't really done that yet. So yeah, I'm always looking for like funny setups to a sentence.
By glory. Now let's be real simple.
Or a funny like line reading, him just hitting a word weird. I don't know if it made it into the cut that I played of Gerrit Loesch. No, it didn't. So, but there's a really funny part later in the Gerrit Loesch thing, because he's the one in the annual meeting who introduces the new governing body members, and he says 16. Like his voice cracks like that, like 16. I don't know why he says the word 16, but it cracks, and I'm able to make it sound like he says there's gonna be 16 new governing body members or something.
Glory in the scriptures means anything
Chumbawamba
that
song.
makes someone or something impressive.
Thanks,
I'm gonna repeat
Skylar.
that. In the scriptures, glory means anything that makes someone or something impressive.
Oh, the problem is that everything he's saying is kind of funny to me. Everything has so much potential.
With that simple definition in mind.
Ah, okay, that's good. That's a whole thing. With that simple definition in mind is a good one.
Our God. Our God
Boast
is
in our
merciful
God.
and compassionate. Our God is empathetic. When we feel hurt, he feels hurt.
Oh, a
Our
definition
God
for
is
glory
humble.
holes.
He shows concern
Oh, you might have cracked the code there. Do we have him saying holes? That might be a problem in our plan. We can probably get it. I'll say something that sounds like holes. Put an H sounds in front of there. That's it. We do have him do a definition of glory holes and then say, well, with this simple definition, you may ask yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. That's good. We could have him
for
say
widows
stuff from
and
songs.
orphans and others who are often neglected by society.
Who are often neglected by society is a great end to a thing. Widows and orphans is funny.
We also bring glory to Jehovah when we give him credit for our accomplishments. David did that. Remember what David said? By God's power.
That's gotta be. That's gotta be. Okay, so him saying David did that, like really declarative. That's funny. So we gotta have him ask like, who did this? David did that, or like, I didn't do that. David did that.
When we give.
Oh, but his name is David. His name is David's plane. Now we're cracking the code. Now we're cracking the code. These are the kind of questions we need to be asking as a society and as viewers of this stream. If we could have him define glory hole with 3 words, it could be like dick plus hole. There's a lot of words we gotta find. We don't have any of those so far. But that would be really funny. Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, define. We'll have him define glory hole with 3 words. So his name is David, SPLANE. So we could have him be talking about himself in the 3rd person and be like, David did that. David did this. So that's good. This is when he introduces the years tags. We can tie that in. Oh, we're doing good stuff. We're doing I think this is actually the Lord's
him credit
work.
for our accomplishments. David did that. Remember what David said? By God's power, I can scale a wall.
Okay. I can scale a wall. There's so many gems, spiritual gems, right in a row. I can scale a wall. Another thing to look out for is I statements. Just them saying things about themselves. That's one of the weirder things about making these edits, is like Dennis Prager edits are amazing because they like he'll be like, I think blah blah blah, but they like governing body members never say that. They're never like, in my opinion. So what you kind of have to catch him reading a Bible verse where they're speaking in the first person. David, the third person, think is funny. Oh, sneaky. So he definitely says in that one talk, he's like, it's tricky. I think that's the apostate talk. I think he says, it's tricky. It's not like they say you are now entering an apostate webpage. So we have him saying tricky. Oh, maybe sneaky. Maybe he does say sneaky in that talk. I can scale a glory doo-doo. Yeah, it does. I can scale a wall. David did that. We're getting places.
We can
We're
give
getting
glory
places.
to God without saying a word.
Without saying a word is great.
Think of the heavens. What does the Bible say about the heavens?
Could we have him say Kevins? Is that funny? Think about the Kevins? I don't know.
There is no speech, and there are no words. Their voice is not heard.
Just the entire minute 4, a treasure trove, a veritable treasure trove of spiritual gems.
Yet what does the psalm continue to say? The heavens are declaring the glory of God. We can't help but be impressed by Jehovah's creation.
Yeah, like we can't help but be impressed. I climbed a wall. I scaled a wall. We can't help but be impressed. David did that. We're getting somewhere.
Well, so much for glory. Give Jehovah...
Why did he say that? Well, so much for glory. He should say that directly after Gerrit Losch's talk. Well, so much for glory.
We can't help but be impressed by Jehovah's creation.
Hey, thanks.
Well, so much for glory.
Thanks to not me.
Give Jehovah the glory.
$22.99 super sticker. Appreciate you.
Due his name. Now, we give someone his due when we give him what's rightfully his. And Jehovah has
his due-due.
An absolute right to receive glory from men.
Okay. I mean, real clearly, we can do, like, the governing body has an absolute right to receive glory from men. I mean, it's easy. But sometimes God gives you a gift. Who are we to say no?
Reminded of what the 24 elders said, as recorded at Revelation chapter 4 and verse 11. They said,
I love
you
y'all.
are worthy, Jehovah our God, to receive the glory.
Head. Does he say headship? Because we could have him say, like, you are worthy to receive head. I have a glory hole.
Due his name.
Due.
What about God's name?
I think I might just because it's going to happen. Because I understand my mental illnesses. I'm going to make a supercut of him saying do this many times. That might have to be like a Patreon bonus. Because I don't really... It's hard to justify releasing multiple silly edits of this talk.
Well, we were thrilled when we first learned that God has a name.
Well, we were thrilled. Okay, so 550 is well, we were thrilled.
And that prompted some of us to study the Bible and come into the truth. Now, if learning that God has a name had that effect on you, don't you think that it could also have that effect on people in your territory? Have you asked people in your territory recently, would you like to see God's name in the Bible? Or have you ever seen God's name in the Bible? That could lead to some very interesting discussions.
That whole runner leading up to that could lead to some very interesting discussions is pretty good. Oh, what? Keyboard's being so stupid. I changed keyboards. I had a couple, and I think I'm just too used to my old one. This one is not doing the trick. What was that? That could lead to some very interesting discussions. Okay.
A missionary is serving in a country where most of the people believe in God. They're either Catholic or Muslim, but they all believe in God. They don't know much about him.
Okay, all right,
But I like
good.
the way
They're either Catholic or Muslim. Nice freebie. 625. They're either Catholic or Muslim.
or a Muslim, but they all believe in God. They don't know much about him. But I like the way he reasons with him. He says, when you want to become...
Have you ever performed a task or a job?
...friends with someone, the first thing you do is introduce yourself. You tell him your name, he tells you his, and you become friends.
Okay, well now, I think we're now learning the steps of the glory hole. I think that would be funny as the steps of how a glory hole works. Like, with that definition in mind, because I think we have that, it's like, the first thing you do is introduce yourself.
Yourself. You tell him your name, he tells you his, and you become friends.
And you become friends.
We all want to...
Yeah, okay, good. Good, this is coming together. That's at 6:44.
Be friends of God. So a good first step is to find out his name. And then he reads the Bible, God's name in the Bible.
And then he reads the...
we give God glory when we defend his name and his reputation. But what does the name mean? Well...
It would be funny if he said that about David. My name is David, but what does that name mean?
Oh, many scholars say it means he caused us to become. And we know that Jehovah can cause us to become whatever he wants to be. So think about what we heard earlier in this program today. If he wants us to become a missionary, if he wants us to work in construction, if he wants us to be a special pioneer or to serve at Bethel.
Cervic? Hang on.
If he wants us to be a special pioneer or to serve at Bethel.
Cervic?
Jehovah can give us the strength. He can give us the ability to do that. And all we have to do is...
he could give us the ability to do that is pretty good. Can give us the ability to do that.
Put our trust in him. Now, like the heavens, we can sometimes give God glory without saying a word. How? By our fine conduct.
Yes, exactly, Sean. Same page.
Sometimes after being violently opposed for years because of the conduct of their Christian mate and children. How many unbelievers have been impressed?
Can we have him do like British slang? Like, oi, mate. So far, they're all sex jokes. But, well, I mean, this isn't a highbrow channel.
Sometimes after being violently opposed for years because of the conduct of their Christian mate and children. How many unbelievers have been impressed by the way we take care of one another and others when disaster strikes? So we think about the words of Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount. When people see our fine works, they give glory to our Father in heaven. Jehovah is also glorified.
I need, this is going to sound, there's no good way to say this. I need a version, some kind of word where I can make it sound like he's saying word dicks. So just if that sound occurs in anything he's saying, or icks.
When his servants respond to the leading of his Spirit in their Christian life.
Take care of one another. Good catch. That's great for the glory hole stuff.
Now, if you're an appointed man, have the elders found...
Oh! Now, if you're an appointed man...
You to be more reasonable, more tactful, more yielding over the years?
Oh. You know what? I think we might have... I think I might have been at my wit's end when we watched this on stream, because I don't remember this part of the talk. I hate that word, yielding. Like, are we being yielding?
When they see...
Are you showing a yielding attitude?
Our brothers and sisters don't fail to give credit to Jehovah God, and Jehovah God is praised. So, in 2025, let's give serious thought to ways we can give God glory. And to remind us, those words, the words of Psalm 96:8, are going to be posted in...
Lots of numbers throughout this. I know! The problem is that, like, every sentence is kind of funny. Like, every sentence you can do something with. Yes, violently opposed.
Our kingdom halls, as are your texts. So what's the your text again?
In our kingdom halls, we can have him say, like, glory holes in our kingdom halls. Also, halls is pretty good to holes. I'm assuming he says holy at some point, right? In this talk, we can get close.
Psalm 96:8, give Jehovah the glory due his name.
Wow, that's awesome. They hyped up just a sentence. They just hyped up like a verse from the Bible that is just going to be on the wall at a kingdom hall. Why is this exciting? You're going to be seeing this bad boy as a screensaver. Yes, I thought the same exact thing.
Poem entitled "Give Jehovah Glory," and I'm going to read it to you. We don't do poetry in our publications because it's too hard to translate.
God damn it. Okay, so he has to have a poem. He has to have a poem, so you have to have a rhyming segment. I did that in the Joe Rogan edit I did. So we gotta think of some rhyming words. 9:50 we get to poetry. Poetry. So, gotta think of some rhyming words.
But this is a good one, and I'm going to read it to you.
This is a good one.
Give Jehovah glory.
We're spoiled for choice. Like, we're really spoiled for choice. They gave us... I know this seems like disgusting, manipulative propaganda by decrepit old men's rights activists, but really, what they gave us was a gift of a memory.
Who is like you, O Jehovah, high on your heavenly throne?
O Jehovah?
How could I...
Hi. He says hi. I already have the 420 bit. I don't know if that was clear. I posted the, like, prayer thing as a YouTube short, but that's part of the material. I'll show you the Gage Legal part at the end.
repay you
if you haven't
for
seen
all
it yet.
of the love you have shown. When I look up to the heavens, power and glory I see. Who then am I, O Jehovah?
Who then am I? I, David. David did that.
That you would show favor to me? My life is yours, O Jehovah. May all I do bring you praise. Gladly I'll speak of your goodness.
All I
tell of
do.
your glorious ways. Serving you, great God Jehovah, fills me with honor and pride.
Come. I'm
You
just having to say
are
come
my
right there.
strength and my glory. Forever may you be my God.
I mean, a glory supercut of this annual meeting would probably be an hour long. That Gerrit Loesch thing is almost 5 straight minutes of him mostly just saying the words glory and mirror over and over again.
Oceans and valleys below me, sun, moon, and stars up above.
Holes,
fill me with
glorious
joy
holes.
and with wonder, and show me your unending love. Majesty, wisdom, and beauty. These are the things that I see.
It's like Christmas and your dad is FAO Schwartz himself. I mean, what does he do? Look what he does.
Not give you glory.
A spiritual banquet.
Making it all come to be.
Come. Sean is your hubby?
Those were
that's not a bad idea either.
Very happy occasion.
Below me. Hey, we're getting somewhere.
They're part of a song.
They're part of a song.
An original song.
They're part of a song. We could have him. Okay, so we could do like have him say that he's going to read a poem and say that it's part of a song, and then like I could cobble together the lyrics of a song. And kind of have him do the "They Not Like Us" thing, Toni Morris
That was composed
thing I did.
especially for this annual meeting. And guess what?
Oh, big and guess what? Big and guess what? That's going on the list. That's making the master list. Good God. Look at his fucking Randall from Monsters, Inc. face that he does here. We have to slow this down. We have to get the full effect.
And guess what?
Oh. I actually wanted to see that
For
again.
this annual meeting. And guess what?
Oh, little sassy. Guess what, guys? You're gonna sing a song for my entertainment because you're my slaves.
Guess what?
He went back for more. He went back for seconds.
Sing that song at the conclusion of this meeting.
Double guess what?
I said to the governing body, are you...
He just said governing body. We've got it. We're winning. The good guys are winning. Look at this. I said to the governing body, are you sure? What a goddamn present. What a prize to be given this sentence right here. I'm really overhyping how good this edit's going to be. I don't know how much effort I really feel like putting into this. Now I feel obligated, though, which is good. But him saying, I said to the governing body, are you sure? That's great. So we have governing body full. Just we needed that.
Sure? And they said, oh, yes. They have tremendous confidence
God.
in your musical ability.
They want us to be doing this. They want us to make these edits.
Just so you know, the governing body has decided that from now on, a new original song based on the Your text is going to be featured at each annual meeting.
Whoa. Wait, what? What was even announced there? That they announced the new year text at the annual meeting? Oh, a new original song based on the year text is going to be... Well, I mean, but don't get too excited. I mean, the end is going to come before next year, so this is probably the only new original song you're going to get.
The original song based on the Your text is going to be featured at each annual meeting.
Oh, wow. He literally does. It's Egg. He's Dr. Eggman himself.
The brothers in music services are busy working on the one for 20.
Said to my coworkers.
Now, during the past 2 months, the music team and translation services all around the world have been working feverishly to translate.
Working feverishly or just feverishly? That's pretty good. Sorry about that.
The water of life.
Feverishly is a good one. We could do, I mean, honestly, we could just do have been blanking feverishly. That'd be pretty good.
Record and mix the song. And as a result of their efforts, when this talk is released on October the 14th, the song will be released simultaneously with the English.
Simultaneously.
In over 400 languages.
Wow, that's amazing. So incredible. All right, let's play Where's Waldo. You guys ever done this? I was doing this while making the first part of the Awkward Silence Supercut. And this is a higher quality thing than what was sent to me. So you can see Kenneth Cook right here. There's Stephen Lett, right? There's Mark Sanderson with his beard, his gross beard. There's Harold, whatever the fuck his name is. He's just kind of got a boring voice. This looks like Joel Dellinger with a beard. This is another guy that gives talks. I think he's got a dubious accent. I think that's David Schaefer. Ah! How do you zoom? What's the controls for that? But I'm pretty sure that's David Schaefer, is what I'm saying. Alright, good. That's pretty good. So just keep an eye out. See if you can spot any celebrities. Find Tony? Oh, he wishes. He wishes he was invited.
Let's see how those words sound when they're put to music.
Okay, that would be a good payoff to the end of the bit. If he's like, now what would those words sound like when they're set to music? And just repeat something that he says earlier, but maybe like set it to a song.
Remember, we're going to be singing this song at the conclusion of the meeting, and we don't want anybody just moving the lips with no sound coming out. There is a reason why we call it a song.
just kind of freebie, silly
So
things.
pay attention and enjoy. Give Jehovah glory.
All right. Well, that's enough of that. I know that there's more to his talk, but I've been recording for a long time. These have turned into 3-hour streams. I used to be like, I'm going to keep these to 90 minutes. And now I'm like, why? It's fun. We have a good time. You should edit Waldo in as an Easter egg. That's a fucking good idea. I'm going to take a screenshot of this comment so I don't forget. Does that make any sense at all? No, I have an email open to write down notes, but I forgot, and that was my first instinct. I don't understand. All right, I Am No Jedi lobbed me up for a little special sequence. Holy shit. Gubber Wubber says, Jake, would you rather kiss the floor of a public bus or Splane's turkey neck? Floor of a public bus. Because when I think about it, like, if I dropped my food on the floor of a public bus for a second, I would probably still pick it up and eat it. 5-second rule. So I would rather spend 5 seconds kissing a public bus floor than 5 seconds kissing his alleged skin. Now, we all know that this is an artificial skin suit that he's made using occult rituals because he's some kind of demon. But ostensibly, it's skin. Okay. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah, I was going to show this dumb TikTok that I made. I basically wanted to do
You would not believe the sadistic things that these parents did to their 2 daughters. Today's cult survivor is Misty Griffin. She grew up completely isolated up on a mountain where her parents forced her and her little sister to do manual labor to make things so her parents could sell them, and they completely hid them from the world. Whenever they went into town...
Shush. This is why TikTok is bullshit. No, that's not how TikTok works. How does it work? We do this.
Excited to put on a pair of jeans.
Okay, I muted it to spare your soul. All right, so this is a pretty good edit. I'm going to close out with this. This has been a super fun stream. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be uploading more stuff. I've just been, like, kind of going slow with video editing because I'm trying to avoid burnout. I always enjoy doing the streams. I have such a good time. And I've been having fun editing non-JW stuff, too. So I'm just trying to balance stuff and make sure that I'm having fun doing the channel. So that's why I've been a little bit slower to upload. But definitely plenty of material to release. I've just been kind of slow about editing. But don't let that stop you from becoming a patron. Not a great sales pitch. Never been a great salesman. But yeah, watch this. I put work into it. This started as I wanted to do an awkward silent supercut of the moment that Trump had on stage recently, where for some reason he just started playing music off of his iPad and just kind of swaying awkwardly. Really weird. And then apparently he did it in Detroit the other night and just paced around for 16 minutes while they had sound issues. So there's got to be some gold there. So that's what I wanted to do. And then I just kind of ended up making a stupid YouTube poop. I got distracted by Christy Gnome, right? I think that's who she is. Maybe this is weird to say, but when I think of my crazy ex who I did not have a good relationship with, it's this lady. Same kind of the pretty scary ratio is off. There's just something kind of not quite there with Christy Gnome. As we know, she has murdered puppies, at least once. And I think you do get that from her. So we're going to close out with a fun YouTube poop. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's always a blast.
Listen, everybody. So listen, and listen, and listen. I'm so excited to put on a pair of jeans. Golly shucks, geez, I'm just like you.
And here is the situation, and here is the truth.
Women were created to serve mediocre men, right? Men are smarter than you. They're better than you. In our state, we banned women from owning land. Yes, you all are shit. Donald Trump is taking away opportunities from our exceptional women. Yes, please welcome the 7th President of the United States, Don John.
What are we doing here? These people aren't very good, are they? It's terrible. It's terrible.
It is.
I happen to be a very young man, you know.
Who controls China?
China.
China. Mr. President, as you can see, we've got a lot of mediocre men who want to ask you some questions.
Good.
Move into that portion of the town hall tonight. Let's go to our first question. Our first question is going to be from a man named Ree. And Ree, I'm not certain where you are.
Where's Ree? There he is. Hi, Ree. Nice looking guy.
Ree, I believe you're a SEAL, correct?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Ree. I'm a single veteran and Iraq War father. I dream of owning a home.
All right, good. It's a great question. You know, I had a talk with the Taliban.
Yes, they love you.
First of all, it's too expensive to build the homes, and they're building them, and they cost a fortune. And I happen to be a Taliban with the Taliban. Somebody said,
Oh, he's got a conflict of interest because he benefits by that.
I'll give mine up if you I save tax. But no, we're going to do that for the older people. That's a big deal. And for older people, too, by the way. We're not going to forget. We're not going to forget the older people. We're not going to forget the older people. By the way, no social security benefits for the older people. For those. Crime statistics are fake. You've been eaten alive. But getting back to you, we're going to drill, baby drill, baby drill, baby drill. And we're going to drill, baby drill, baby drill, baby drill.